check, 1, 2. Can you guys hear me in the chat? Hey now, welcome everybody to Talking Guitars and 80s Metal Live. It is January 25th, 2022, 8:10 p.m. Eastern, 5:10 Pacific, out here in Santa Cruz, California. Here we are. There it is. Hey, man.
Oh, sorry, Johnny. I didn't realize we were on the air yet. Yeah, guess what? I just spilled all over my computer.
Bang Energy, hopefully.
Delicious Bang Energy drink. Just as I finally get shit like organized and stuff, I'm like, okay, here we go. And then I pop open a Bang and it slips and it spills on my keyboard.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
That's
right
not
now, right now, Mama Kuda's upstairs. I thought I heard an explosion. Is everyone all right?
Oh my God!
It's calling 911 right now. Oh my God! Is everyone okay? What was that noise?
Ouch!
Of course, my headphones are all fucking tangled. Hold on.
Yeah, that's why.
Professionalism on Tech More on Tuesday. Yes. We're adjusting cameras. We're spilling drinks. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Now I could hear you. Yeah, Yostinator's like, hey, what's that sticky goo on your keyboard? That's another spill that I thought I heard an explosion there too. Like a loud spurt.
Hey, what's up? Kurt 5150. Hey, man. Hey, you guys. Hey, let's say hello. Let's say hello to the top tier channel members. False Flag. Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. False Flag.
False Flag. A running start. Thank you, False Flag. Right out of the gate. Right out of the gate.
Thank you, dude. Top tier channel memberships.
The big bosses. Do you think they're here, Johnny?
I see some of them.
Oh boy.
I see some of them there.
Better be on our best behavior. The top tier channel members, the big bosses, the producers of the show, the people who keep this on the air, the money people, the bean counters, the ones that wag the finger at me and raise a paddle in threatening motion at me and say, Mancuda, you better clean up your act if you want to stay on that damn show. Yes, sir. Yes, Dave Ennis. Yes, Final Freak 5150. Yes, Mike Neese. Yes, Music Therapy Laz and Majestic PB&J Cat. Yes, Wayno. Yes, False Flag. Yes, Sherman Callahan, sir. Yes, Andy Carson, sir. Michael B. Yes, sir. R. Habs. Yes, sir. Warlag. Yes, sir. The Chad, sir. Yes. Linny Lou and Mary. Yes. Yes, ma'ams. Yes. Even though I want to ravage your 86-year-old wheelchaired body, ma'am. Yes, James Gum. Yes, John Moronic. Yes, sir, Paul Martin Woods. Yes, Stephen Franklin, sir. Yes, Michael the Captain Smith, sir. Captain, sir. Yes, Thomas Santiago, sir. Joe Christian, sir. Yes, Jimmy Ray Hawkins. And yes, Steve Carmichael, sir. We will try to be on our best behavior today. Oh, boy.
Steve Carmichael. Hey, you guys. Again, that's top tier of channel membership here on Johnny Beane TV, here on YouTube. If you'd like to become a channel member, click that join button right below the 15 thumbs ups currently. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Get to boss us around.
Thank you, guys, so much. And if you'd like to help support the channel, support these shows, any super chats. Technically, tonight, it's a slightly different story. The lights. Well, technically, okay.
What's going on, Johnny?
Okay, I've been running things backwards lately. Where actually
welcome to my world.
Where basically the lights are always changing now. They're always moving. So if you want to stop
them,
if you want to stop the lights, any super chats will stop the color of my lights. There we go.
So if one of your family members is having a seizure from you watching this show and all the lights flashing, if you want it to stop, you got to pay Johnny, basically.
That's horrible. But new feature. It literally adds color to the show. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. We're also live on Facebook, Johnny Beane TV Facebook page, where we have Facebook Stars, which is a digital gift that helps in the production of these shows. We're also live in pretty much all over Facebook in the Van Halen. If you guys noticed, I finally changed the name of the group. I had said the other day I was going to do that. It is now known as exclusively Van Halen. And that is also the name of the show on Fridays now, is exclusively Van Halen.
Well, hold on, Johnny. Hold on a second. What if I want to talk about like AC/DC on that chat board? I mean, can I talk about AC/DC on that chat board?
Yeah, if it relates to Van Halen. Oh, you mean on the Facebook group? On the Facebook group? Yeah. If they if pretty much if it relates. If it relates. Which there actually is a lot of.
What if I want to talk about Enough's Enough?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But again, if it relates to Van Halen, and actually both those bands do relate to Van Halen. They're actually.
What if I want to talk about Winger?
I think we talked enough about Winger on Friday.
So it's not as exclusive as we're pushing it here.
Well, if it relates, if there is a relation to it, which there are, actually, but anyway, that's the new handle around here. EVH Gear Live Facebook group and Facebook pages, my personal page and Twitter, actually, which surprisingly we actually had a lot of views. Which show was that? Was that Friday?
Talking Guitars and 80's Metal Live.
I forget. One of the previous shows on Twitter actually did like way better than normal, which is very, very shocking.
Yeah.
So
any success on this channel, we want to have it bronzed.
That was cool because I was about ready to drop the Twitter feed in favor of a audio only thing because anyway, that's different. That's tech. Well, it's Tuesday. Here's your Tech
on
Talk
Tuesday, baby.
Here's your Tech Talk Tuesday update here. Twitter video not so good. Twitter audio good. Okay, there's your tip.
There we go. And now you out there in the chat know. Speaking of the chat, let's see who's in the chat right now as they pour in. I know Mama Kuda's watching. Love to my Mama Kuda. Let's see. Kurt 5150 in the house. Leo Safko in the house. Warlag in the house. Thomas Santiago. Keith Campbell. Janice la 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 la. Kent Drive 55. Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr's in the house. Jimmy Carr.
Dude.
Let's see. Christopher Live Sawa. Keith Campbell in the house. Marky FX, the original Power Mutant in the house. Thomas Santiago. R2R3 Locking Nut in the house. Leo Safko.
Dudes.
Let's see. Vistalite 1972. Let's see. Love you too, Keith Campbell. Kent Drive 55. Let's see. My girl Erica and her lovely wife Sophie. My buddy Mike Mers. My buddy Billy. Browns fan. How's that going for you?
Pretty good.
Tim Thomas. Tim Thomas. Symmetry. My man Symmetry's in the house.
Symmetry.
My girl Sandra Picorni. 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 We love you long time. Let's see. Stuff go. David Scher, how you doing, brother?
David, hey man.
Clayton
James Hicks.
Warlag wants to keep it filthy tonight. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. We will smut it up for you. He's one of the bosses, Johnny.
Yes.
Let's see.
Clayton James Hicks.
Clayton James. Joseph D'Angelo in the house. How are you, brother?
That's right, Clayton. Tomorrow is Edward Van Halen's birthday. We will be celebrating. I'll do something special for it. And then on the metal show tomorrow with Jay Hannon and Boner Jams,
tomorrow is Metal Wednesday.
They'll be forced to talk about Van Halen on there because
forced to talk about. Let's see. Rock Daddy, Tim Thomas, Gretsch Zeppelin in the house. Let's see. Mr. Mick in the house. False Flag, of course, in the house. Oh, there he is. Right there. I see him.
Hey, I'm here.
Let's see. Neanderthal coming in a little bit. Yostinator. What's this sticky goo? He wants to know. Yes, sir. So does the cleaning lady. Nightbot in the house. That's good to see.
That's actually me. False Flag.
That is
not actually me. You'd have to be insane to think that's me. Nightbot.
False Flag is not Johnny. False Flag is in
me.
Australia.
Is me. Kurt, definitely, man. Kurt and I will go live tomorrow before the metal show and do a special Van Halen show for you.
Very cool. Hit Metalworks. Let's see. Ostinator, Thomas Santiago, Mr. Mick. Megatod 707.
Oh my gosh.
What? Danny's rocking metal in the house. Sharon Willdollar. Yeah, baby. What's better than the stripper pole? Juicy peaches. Let's see. Danny's rocking metal. Rock Daddy. Megatod 707. Art Cavaretta. There you go. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man.
Kai Matthews with us. Let's see. Looking through the chat. Johnny, who else do you see on Facebook? Because I get able to see part of the chat. Magic Man in the house. Who we got on
so far?
Halface,
Clayton and
Zach Thong in the
Sharon.
house. James G in the house. Nice. Everyone's imagining Paul on a stripper pole now. I imagined that in the shower this morning. That's where all that sticky stuff came from.
Man.
Hey, don't knock it, Johnny. Let's see. Let's give I want to take the time to give two very special shout outs and well wishes today, because two of our friends are having some very serious health problems. Actually, let's give a special shout out. Drew SGS 60, welcome, man. Let's give special shout out to Ben Tom, who is in the hospital right now. He had some open heart surgery and some other complications. So let's take a minute to well wish some prayers and positive energy to my buddy Ben Tom, because I love the guy. Great guy, great father, great friend. So if you're out there, Tom, and I know you are, we are, giving you prayers and positive energy. Let's all I know I did that, but please, just this time. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lord. And let's also give the same prayers and positive energy to our buddy Dave Nesdall, also going through some serious health issues right now. Let's, again, prayers and positive energy for both those guys who we love. And, look, we're all friends in this hobby of music enthusiasts, guitar enthusiasts and players, And you know, we have different shows and whatever, but at the end we all know each other, and you know, everybody knows everybody. This is a very tight-knit community. So I'm asking everyone out, for Tom and for Nesdal, prayers, positive energy, whatever you got, send it their way. All good stuff, because we want them both to get better and keep rocking with us, healthy, wealthy, and wise, or at least healthy. So, you know, there you go.
Yeah. Right, Paul?
Right. I guess whatever he said.
Yeah, no, I was sending you know, prayers and well wishes and positive energy for Ben Tom and for Dave Nesdal, both going through some health crisis right now.
And our buddy Dane Zimmerman has got the big Rona right now. So,
and big healthy well wishes out there for Dane to get better.
Agreed.
So that's 3 guys you got to keep in your prayers and positive energy set tonight. Everyone else can fuck themselves. But yeah, those 3 guys just keep rooting for. So there you go. And thank you, Keith Campbell. No ripping on other shows. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Johnny would never do that.
Yeah, Johnny.
Okay, I'll tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Tonight, yeah, you all right, good. Thanks.
You be good, Johnny Beane. You be good. The big bosses are watching. So yeah, well wishes to our buddy Dane.
Yes. Everybody.
Sure.
Yeah. And how you doing today, Paulie?
I'm actually in the process. I've been getting tested myself every 2 or 3 days, just to make sure that I'm not sick. So, just not feeling well.
All right. Well, let's all throw in well wishes and prayers that you are not sick. So, we're gonna throw one more in for our buddy Neanderthal over here.
Yeah. No, I've been headaches, achy, that whole deal, and my vision is a little blurry, but that could just be screen strain.
No, mine is blurry, but it's probably from me doing a handstand jizz on my own face, and I can't get that crap out of there. It's you're sleeping sand, but really, really tough.
For whatever reason, you're still on the East Coast. I can't quite figure it out.
Neither can my mother. She's trying to get me out of here as fast as possible.
Well, I don't blame her. Can you really blame her?
So, John, don't you have an audition or something coming up soon, like that you have to pack for and leave soon for?
Isn't there a job you should be doing? Shouldn't you be doing a job?
You know, every other mother has a son that works. I just see you doing that silly show.
Wow. It's good to have a support system. Thank you, Mama Mancuda.
Yeah, Mama Kuda's chomping at the bit to get rid of me already.
I would like to say thank you to Sharon Wilddollar for her well wishes. If you want to come over and nursemaid me, I'll let you do it.
Yeah, and I hear about the stripper pole she's putting in for you guys.
You didn't see what they said earlier, though.
Oh, no. Sharon says she's putting in a stripper pole with you.
They said you were both putting a pole in.
Yeah,
well, and that you shave on the porch.
I don't think she meant an actual stripper pole. I think by pole she meant Paul's penis.
I was just gonna say if Sharon wants to ride the pole, I'm your guy. Hi, Ellie.
Rock Daddy just saw Dane.
Yeah, he he went by the store. Dane is actually, it's weird. Dane is in his store wearing a mask. I don't know how isolated or how many days he was isolated, but yeah, I told Dane I will not be stopping by the store anytime soon.
Yeah. Call in your orders into Zim's Guitars right now. Call them in.
No. Now's not the time.
Yeah. Keith Campbell says Sharon's shaving fantasies are about to come true. There you go.
Yeah, I'll shave Sharon. No problem.
There we go.
You'll shave Sharon?
Shave that yourself. Beaver.
No, I'll shave Sharon in a very, very, very sensitive area. I've been thinking about your bunghole.
I'm gonna get rid of that beaver.
Wow, Rick.
I'm gonna shave it all.
Keenan Neighbors, a Rick Earwood reference. Huh. All right. Nice.
Wow.
Hey, Keenan.
Keenan. Coming out left field with that one.
Yeah, that's a long one. Yeah.
Speaking of long one, Zach Thong, good for you, man. Zach got his booster yesterday. Cool. Can't try 55. Never Rona.
Never.
Never Rona. Never Rona.
Yeah.
You know, as we get into we always talk about 80s metal, but I just want to point out. Yeah,
Do we?
Well, we tried to.
20 minutes in the show. We haven't done it yet.
Theoretically, we tried to. I just would like to point out that I have been on a huge Stray Cats kick for the past couple of days, and I know they're not metal, but goddamn, I love the Stray Cats.
Wait, I thought you meant you've been kicking stray cats lately, and that's not.
I don't bother chasing mice around.
Yeah, no, the Stray Cats are friggin' awesome. Yes, I have stray cats in my neighborhood, but I would never abuse an animal.
That's right. No, we're all animal lovers on this channel.
Yeah. But Brian Setzer is one of the most underrated guitar players in the history of the sport. But if you go back, it's funny because people are like, well, his solo stuff is great too. Yeah, it is, but it's not quite the Stray Cats. There's that chemistry. We've talked about this before. Just because you can take a great musician and put him on a stage with a couple of other good musicians, it doesn't always necessarily work. And in the Stray Cats case, it does work with those three guys.
Contraband.
Just a great, Contraband. What a mistake.
So close. Look good on paper.
Well, look, there's a lot of bands that that look they should be great, but it just doesn't work. But the Stray Cats does. The Stray Cats work. Just a great band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. This is
a couple of days.
The last time I was like watching the Stray Cats was like, when MTV was just like having like, one of those band jams where it was like the Thompson Twins, the Stray Cats, and I don't know, someone maybe Madonna or someone else, and just all the weird, Men at Work coming in for a song, and
Men at Work were great too. Again, we've talked about this before. So those, even the bands that aren't metal from that era that we really like, even those bands, the alternative bands and the sort of skinny tie bands, the Duran Durans and the Men at Works and the Echo and the
Police,
Psychedelic Furs, Police, that kind of thing. Those bands were all brilliant in their own right too. It was fun to be able to dig on a band like the Stray Cats and Iron Maiden at the same time. Those were mutually exclusive clubs at the time. But if you love music, both of those, there's nothing like that today. There is no Stray Cats, Iron Maiden equal in today's music industry. Back then, the spectrum was so much wider and every band was so much more unique. Yeah. Christopher Live saw Scatterbrain was a fantastic band. Saw them with Ugly Kid Joe, who were also super underrated.
WD 5150 brings up Stray Cats were from Massapequa, Long Island.
Yeah.
Long Island, my hometown. Long Island, New York. And by the way, shout out again, of course, because I know you're watching too, my buddy Carlos, who is my house sitter, and he is probably having the time of his life that I am not home yet. So nobody has to go home. Yay!
The parties in that place, man.
Yeah, the red cups that I find when I'm not there. It's mind-blowing. Everybody shout out to Carlos.
Carlos
is in front of my place with a velvet rope and a checklist. Yeah. No. I never heard of any.
Yes, I'd love to let you in, but you bitches is old.
Michael Anthony. Nope, you are not on this list, sir. Nope.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
But that and if you want to get into pre 80s metal, go back and grab some early Humble Pie if anybody has not listened to. Humble Pie as a band obviously has been covered by a bunch of different bands.
Or Beaver Pie.
Most notably Wasp and Mr. Big. I Don't Need No Doctor, which obviously it's an old blues tune, but Humble Pie's version of it was one of the more famous ones. And 30 Days in the Hole, which we've all heard on the Mr. Big debut album.
Sounds like my mom's honeymoon.
Yeah.
Van Halen.
Father wouldn't get off me. Your father wouldn't get off me. He knew he was only getting it once. So 30 days, that crazy glue he used.
Yeah. Yeah, and absolutely Van Halen covered it because Humble Pie was a great band. Steve Marriott, one of those vocalists that doesn't get a whole lot of credit, and a pre Frampton Comes Alive, Peter Frampton. People don't realize that Peter Frampton was a great guitar player before Frampton Comes Alive and all those, sort of soft rock, yacht rock, 70s hits. That guy jammed when he wanted to. So a great band.
Mm-hmm.
Humble Pie, if you haven't checked them out. So there you go.
Very humble band.
Very humble.
Two very weird, diametrically opposed suggestions for people this week. If you're looking for something, older bands that you haven't listened to. I turned a 20-something on to Stray Cats today. She was wearing this Led Zeppelin t-shirt.
I just heard you turned a 20-something on and it was a she, and I'm like,
congratulations, Paul.
You got my attention now. Did you film it though? Did you film it?
So I said to
Rob
her,
Johnson territory,
Led Zeppelin t-shirt, and I said, I got a question for her. Her name is McKenna. Of course it is. So I go, McKenna. I don't want to be inappropriate, but have you ever? She goes, I knew you were going to ask. No. She goes, no. I go, you don't know any Led Zeppelin music? She's like, no, I like alternative. I'm like, okay, what kind of alternative? She's like, real alternative, not that shit that's out there now. Now she's a 20-something. I go, what do you listen to? She goes, I like stuff that kind of sounds like old 50s doo-wop, it has an old feel to it. I go, well, then you'd love Stray Cats. And she goes, what? I go,
wow.
So I turned her on to Stray Cats, and she's like totally into it. She's like, it's like a whole new world has just opened for her to listen to Brian
with the unzipping of Paul's pants. A whole new world is.
You got to take it there every goddamn time.
Yes, yes. Did you hear the big bosses? They said keep it filthy. They said it right there in the chat.
I don't remember them saying that.
Well, that was right before you got here when we were doing roll call. I said we were going to be on best behavior, and Warlag shut that right down.
Oh, okay.
Janice wants to know, did I listen to WLIR over on Long Island? No, I did not. I listened to all the rock stations. I listened to, Z-Rock from New York City. I listened to BAB, which is, of course, Long Island. And
LIR before you, and this is before you because you're obviously only 29.
29 every year.
LIR used to be a rock station, but one of the weird things about LIR was that Southern rock was weirdly big on Long Island. Bands like Molly Hatchet and the Allman Brothers and that sort of redneck rock, the Pat Travers.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
It's a weird thing. Those bands you wouldn't expect. Those bands that have, the Allman Brothers, Skinnerd, Marshall Tucker Band, those bands were bigger on Long Island than you would have thought. And LAR played the shit out of them.
David Crosby started a band called Foreskinner. Foreskin.
Hey, you say what you want. Leonard Skinner is fucking awesome. Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, but David Crosby is not. So
David Crosby is not. Leonard Skinner is to that form of music, to that genre of music, what Led Zeppelin is to hard rock. They are the greatest Southern rock band of all time. And you could argue it, but you're fucking wrong. Leonard Skinner is awesome. And the reason why is because I believe every word that came out of Johnny Van Zant's mouth was true. Every song, every story, they happened. Every one of them happened. Give Me 3 Steps, I believe happened. Saturday Night Special, I believe happened. Freebird, Sweet Home Alabama, all that shit, working for MCA, all that stuff happened. I believe every word, and that credibility that comes out of kind of like AC/DC or Motorhead, I believe, and the Ramones, I believe every word is true. And
Warren had Uncle Tom's Cabin. Does that count?
Uncle Tom's Cabin's the best song Warren ever wrote.
I don't know about that. It's a great one. It's a great one, but I don't know if it actually happened is the question.
No, it didn't happen.
Well, there you go.
Just like Bon Jovi has never ridden a steel horse. He's not a cowboy. You're from goddamn Sayreville, New Jersey. Knock it off.
Wait a second. What about Tommy and Gina? What about Tommy and Gina?
Tommy and Gina probably existed. Tommy might have worked.
They probably do, actually. I think he said they based it on real people originally.
Yeah, Tommy and Gina probably happened, but the whole idea of that John Bon Jovi spent his night on the range alone, sleeping under the stars. Fuck you.
He's in a nice hotel.
That never happened.
Steel horse I ride.
WRA2 has one of my favorite people in the whole history of the world working there. Her name is Terry Carr, and I am in love with her and have been for generations.
Jimmy Carr?
No, Terry Carr.
Terry Carr?
If you know what? If you want to Google a picture of Terry Carr and put her up, she used to be on VH1 for a while too. Terry is fucking awesome. One of my favorite people on the planet.
Terry with an I or a Y?
With an I. Not only with
two R's or one?
Two. Terry, not only is she fucking stunningly good looking, she's super good at what she does. In that order, she's way better at what she does than she is attractive, and she's fucking stunningly attractive. Just a good girl. Just a really good girl. This.
Johnny's emailing her my phone number right now, I hope.
Yeah, Terry's great. Just one of my favorite people in the world.
Wait, what's her name?
Terry. Jesus Christ. T-E-R. Let's try this. T-E-R.
That's JESUS CHRIS.
T-E-R-R-I-E-C-A-R-R. Sorry.
T-A-R-R-I-E.
T-E-R-R-I-E-C-A-R-R.
Oh, here she is. Okay. Yeah, because I kept coming up with Terry Gar. And I'm like, wait a minute. Terry Gar?
Terry is great.
Terry Gar? Oh, wait.
She's on
Simon and Garfunkel.
She's on WRAT in New Jersey, whatever. I don't even know what town it is.
Where all we play is Rat. 24/7 Rat music. Yes, that's right. Rat. All the albums, all you want to hear. Rat Reunited. Rat. Dancing Undercover. You got it.
The closest thing to a rock station that New York City has.
Oh, there's her number. Can't Try 55 has it, Johnny. Thank you.
My apologies.
867-5309.
Instead of Ronnie Van Zant, my mistake. Somebody should correct me on that because
Johnny, it's Jamie Farr. Jamie Farr. He wants you to look up.
Yeah, Terry is
right there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Terry's
pretty girl. Yeah,
doesn't wear a lot of makeup.
I like a natural girl. She's cute.
Doesn't wear a lot of makeup. She's not very tall. Super cool.
That.
Knows her shit. Terry is great at what she does.
Nice.
Yep. And one of the best people on the planet. Also saves dogs, that whole deal. She has all the good things outside of
single, Paul? Single?
Is she? I don't know.
I'm asking. I'm sniffing around.
MBO. Jay.
My guess is this. My guess is that Terry, probably the line forms to the right for Terry. She is very attractive and very nice and very successful. And my guess is if she's single, it's by choice.
Wow. Makes sense. The great Jay Hannon of the band Gizmachi says, I thought Dead or Alive was about being on the road and being wanted by boyfriends and husbands for Bon Jovi banging their chicks. That makes sense.
Okay.
That could be true.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Great.
I believe it.
James Stewart, I wish I could tell you I was in love with Terry. Terry's too good a friend to be in love with. That's the problem. You fucked that up.
You got what I need, but you say he's just a friend. You say he's just a friend. Oh, Terry, you got what I need.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is you have a choice. You could take a shot at that and miss wildly and risk losing a 30-year friendship, or you can just be cool being friends, and I'm cool with being friends with her.
As I don't know her, I'm always happy to take the shot.
Yeah, no, you take the shot. You'll get shot down. Terry's also not stupid. And
that then I will get shot down. She has half a brain. I will get shot down. She'll be like, Mancuda. Oh, you're that guy. Yeah.
Oh, Terry with Meatloaf. Yeah.
Huh? Paul Stanley.
No, Terry's met everybody. She's and my guess is everybody that comes through the studio takes a swing at Terry too. She's one of those girls that just everybody loves.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you love her? Look at her. She's a cutie.
Yeah, she's so good. So good at what she does. She used to work with Eddie Trunk at VH1. And I think Eddie was mad because Terry is very credible and Eddie likes to be the center of attention.
Does he? We didn't notice.
I like Eddie. I would call Eddie a friend.
But
Eddie is the star of Eddie's show. And that's by the way, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
and
no,
Eddie,
he is the star of his show. We met him at NAMM. We met him at NAMM. He told Johnny and I to fuck off. No. Eddie's fine. Eddie's good people. He's fine.
Yeah, no,
he
was
great.
Cool.
I've met him many times.
And he's a flag holder, a flag bearer for what we do and what we love. And I would never begrudge Eddie Trunk his success. There's a great video of us at the Big Four. Jesus, this is now 10, almost 12 years ago, 11 years ago. Where
back in my day,
Eddie was I was the program director of a radio station here in Phoenix called KDKB, and it was me and the morning guy and Eddie Trunk, just bullshitting about Metallica and all these bands that were at the Big Four. And Eddie was constantly trying to get his show on our radio station. So he in the interview 4 times, he would subtly try to pitch the show, and I would call him out on it. And the morning guy was getting pissed because Eddie and I were just having fun, and he was like, "Hey, I'm the morning guy."
Morning guy sounds like a Muppet. Hey, Bert, I'm the morning guy. Ernie.
Most morning guys are incredibly insecure assholes who just feel like they're the quarterback of every team and crave attention. And that's one of the things I like about working with Mark is neither one of us has that ego, and we don't treat anybody around us that way. But if you've ever met morning shows at radio stations, they have a tendency to think that their shit doesn't stink. And it's just one of those inside radio things.
Like Skippy and Frank.
Who the fuck are Skippy and Frank?
Do you know them?
Skippy and Frank.
That's Phil Hendry's version of a morning
show. Is that peanut butter on a hot dog?
Yeah. No, I'm sure.
They're they're crazy, those two guys.
Yeah. We're wacky.
Yeah, I'm sure Phil Hendry knows. You've talked to Phil. Phil will tell you exactly what I'm telling you. That morning radio guys have this super inflated sense of self-worth. Most of them, and I'm thankful that we don't have that. I really am. I'm thankful that I'm fucking lucky that I'm ripping this company off twice a month when they give me the check. I'm just like, this is a joke that just keeps getting funnier. They paid me for this? Holy shit! I wish I were as cool as some of the other guys think they are. The whole, we're the cool guys. No. By the way, shameless plug for the show. Tomorrow is Edward Van Halen's birthday.
Yeah.
We will celebrate starting at 5 a.m. on the Mark and Neanderthal radio program on 100.7 KSLX in Phoenix, Arizona. And we'll be joined by the one and only Valerie Bertinelli.
Nice.
On Edward Van Halen's birthday.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Valerie Bertinelli
awesome.
will join us. I will try to keep my hitting on her to a minimum, but I can't guarantee anything.
She's single.
She is single. And it's just a sweetheart. So we're gonna have Valerie on, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about Van Halen, but she really is promoting her book.
Right.
So I mean, we'll have to talk
which we brought up on this show last week.
Yeah, but she's gonna be talking about her book, and but we'll talk about Eddie and especially because it's his birthday. And probably Wolfgang a little bit, and the difference. What's the difference between being on the road with Wolfgang as the band Mom versus being on the road with Van Halen?
It's like being the chaperone on the class trip.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's she's always a cutie. Sport. She's always a good sport, and everybody loves Valerie Bertinelli. So we'll have her on tomorrow. That'll be cool.
Everybody loves Val.
Yeah. And I don't know anything about her book. They didn't send us her book to review. So
really,
yeah. I mean, you would think they would have sent it to us, but they didn't.
You would think.
Yeah.
Going on a book promotional trip, you'd probably want to have some knowledge of that stuff.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, let's face it. We all know Valerie, and she's going to be able to sell the book. You know what I mean? It's funny because she's writing about a lot of really cathartic things that. I mean, what else does Valerie Bertinelli have to do? I mean, she's doing Food Network stuff, and
well, I mean that's something that's enhancing basically, you know, the thing with her body image that, you know, has been the biggest thing of controversy with her, other than her relationship with Van Halen.
Here's the thing, even thick Valerie Bertinelli is hot.
Oh no, she's adorable. She's absolutely adorable. She's super sweet. You know, I mean, she's great, but you know, if you're talking about what's like the big discussion in the book, a lot of it's her body image, and a lot of people are like, well, you're on a cake baking show. Shut the fuck up. Leave the girl alone.
No, she's certainly earned everything that she has. She, you know, you know, we'll probably talk to her a lot about Eddie, because it fits our agenda. We'll try to be respectful to her. But you know, well, I think we should bring up Betty White too. I mean, she did that fucking show with Betty White.
Oh yeah. Well, every other show, I've watched her on a couple of shows this past week, and she's happy to talk about Betty. She's got a lot of nice things to talk about Betty, and you know, she'll tear up with Betty, she'll tear up with Eddie. I mean, you know, it's great. Maybe she'll bring you some baked goods too.
Well,
really
no,
luck out.
She's not gonna be live in studio. We'll do it on the phone.
Oh, it's a phone.
I wish she was. Trust me, if she was in the studio, I'd get down on one knee immediately.
Be like, no, so tell us about your book. Gotcha.
Oh no, gosh.
No, Valerie Bertinelli is the kind of that's you lock it down.
Yeah.
What do you want? Would you say jump? How high? Can I land? No. All right. I'll just be up here. You tell me when.
Yeah. Hal Face says, ask about Schneider. So, do you want to talk about do you want to talk about my body image thing? Do you want to talk about Eddie? Do you want to talk about Betty White? What do you want to talk about? Schneider, did he ever put the moves on you? Was he really smoking those cigarettes in his shoulder? Did he really always talk like that? Hey, Ms. Romano, like, tell us about Schneider.
Here's the thing. I would guarantee you.
Any romance between you and Schneider?
Guarantee you two things. I will not bring up Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
But
probably wise.
But my partner Mark will. If I were a betting man, Mark is 60. Mark is 60. I'm 53.
So my favorite character on the show was Snyder. Can you tell us more about him? Where is he today? Is he single?
Almost guarantee that she.
I think he passed away.
Yeah, he's gone.
I don't think.
I can almost guarantee that she will.
Well, Mark will find out where he's buried.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee that he would do that. I probably won't mention Mitch Malloy as much as I would like to.
Oh, you should. You really should.
I know.
Listen, Paulie, if ever there was an opening right there.
Here's the thing, though.
I mean, she was there.
Here's the thing. I have never been one of those radio personalities that tries to gain
an exclusive
gain fame or try to elevate myself at the expense of others. I think
so you're saying you want me to call in and do it?
Sure, if you want to.
Okay.
Okay. I just think that
I'll ask you about Schneider too.
There's an etiquette that I think that you extend. I mean, you can goof around but the wink has to be obvious, and you can't come across like you're being a fucking asshole, unless you're dealing with an asshole. Like if you've got an interview with somebody and they're acting like a dick on the air, well, then now it's incumbent upon you to take them down a peg and not let them, because if they start becoming dismissive of their fans, dismissive of you or the experience, well, now you got to defend yourself. And because when it's all said and done, that celebrity is coming through town for that 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or if they're in the studio half hour, whatever it is, and then they move on. But you're still there, and you're representative of the people that listen to your radio show. And it's your job to take the position of if a celebrity or a musician is talking down to the people that made them famous, then you got to stand up for them.
So I would just approach it like this. So Valerie, great to have you on. Let's talk about your book. Let's what chapter are you talking about Mitch Malloy and the drama of when he joined the band?
Now,
I'm sorry, what?
Mitch Malloy. What I will do. I guarantee you I will make I'll make some reference to bad blood between her and lead vocalist. I'll bring something up about, I don't know, Sammy or Dave saying something bad about her. That's the only thing.
What about Mitch? Did Mitch bother you when he was a part of the band?
I'll make some sort of a reference about lead singers from Van Halen hating her or calling her Yoko. And then I'll find some way to work it in. But I'll find some way to work in that her and the lead singers from Van Halen didn't get along. I'll leave that. I'll
So I have a list of questions here to ask you. Conflict with singers. What do you feel about what Mitch Malloy said about you?
Yeah, no, I
don't know anything about that. Okay. What about the conflict between Eddie and Mitch Malloy in the years that Mitch was in the band? Mitch who? Mitch Malloy. So is Mitch still looking for a Van Halen reunion with Wolfgang playing guitar? I don't know what you're talking about. Well, what chapters is Mitch in? I mean, we could just talk about the book. What chapters is Mitch in?
No,
has Mitch ever tried to get on your children's baking show?
Oh my God.
Do you know Mitch to be a fan of young children? Do you know about the restraining order Mitch has to stay 500 yards away from any schools or baking shows with young children?
Click.
If we do
Valerie, hold on. All right, we don't have to talk about Mitch. So Schneider, what was it like to work with Schneider?
No, it'll be fun. Again, it's going to be very difficult.
It could be.
It's going to be very difficult to balance, no pun intended.
I see what you did there.
Balance the Van Halen content, which is really what we care about. It's not that I don't care about Valerie Bertinelli or her book, but that's our arena. That's what we do. It's like walking into a steakhouse and ordering, vegan food. She's going to be in our house. We do have an obligation to try and help her achieve her agenda. But when it's all said and done, most people who are listening to our show on Edward Van Halen's birthday are not interested in Valerie Bertinelli's book about cooking and her life. They want to hear about Valerie and Eddie. So we have to walk that fine line in a way that is not off-putting to her.
But that's a part of the book too, is her and Eddie.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's she's more than just Eddie Van Halen's ex-wife, and we have to be cognizant of that. In our world, for our audience, she's not. For our audience, it's You're talking to Valerie Bertinelli on Eddie Van Halen's birthday. Tell us every Eddie story you can fucking get out of her. That's what the audience expects from us. We have to be very careful because in the future, let's say Wolfgang wins a Grammy. And Valerie is doing some sort of a promotional tour or some sort of a thing, and we want to get her on the show. And she goes, "Oh, those guys? They were the assholes that wouldn't leave me the fuck alone about Eddie the last time I was on. I'm never doing
Schneider.
that."
They asked me about fucking Schneider. I hated that guy.
So you have to be very careful with things like that. If it's somebody you don't give a shit about, like I told you, we told Coverdale to go fuck himself because he jerked us around for 2 weeks in a row. We tried to make accommodations for him. He wasn't respectful about it. So he came back around. He needed us to sell his fucking, his compilation albums of Whitesnake shit.
And I saw Here I Go Again on 2 different commercials this week.
Yeah, because that's the song I told you would be there.
The only song you're gonna see.
I told you.
2 different commercials in 1 week.
I don't want to tell you I told you so, but I'm not the kind of guy to say I told it so, but I told it so.
Valerie, what do you think of Whitesnake? I have nothing to do with Whitesnake. All right, fine. Mitch Malloy. What do you think? Who? He was in Van Halen. You should know this. Come on.
Halface asked an interesting question. You don't get questions from her publicist? No. In fact, years ago, I was playing demos from Chinese Democracy. This was 2004, before Chinese Democracy came out. I had like Silkworms and the Blues and a couple of those songs that leaked out. And I was playing them on a radio station in Boston called WAAF. And at the time, Axl was cruising the internet, and he was into, I forget what the name of the Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. I forget the name of the fucking website, but it was a Guns N' Roses fan page. And so word got out that we had leaked a couple of the Guns N' Roses tracks from Chinese Democracy. And Axl lost his fucking mind and had their management send us a cease and desist. And I said, I'll stop playing the songs if Axl will call the show. And they said, sure, we'll have Axl call the show. Here's a list of topics you can talk about, and here's a list of questions you're allowed to ask him. And I said, well, that's not an interview. That's a press conference. I'm not doing that. So we basically took the legal C&D and we stopped playing the music and told Axel to go fuck himself. And you just got to have to, in that situation, it's a symbiotic relationship. They need us to help them do their PR or to help them sell their records or sell their tickets. They should show us the same kind of respect to say, hey, look, you're a guest in our house. There are a little bit of house rules. Take your shoes off, sit down, and let's have some fun.
Don't wipe your dick on the drapes.
But
that happened to me once.
If there's a situation where the artist tries to manipulate the experience to the point where it's a disingenuous or a scripted event, I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't. We don't prep. Look, it's incumbent upon me. I don't know where he went. He's off playing fucking video games on Twitch.
He's on 2 channels at once. Right now he's on Twitch Live. He's on Twitch Live.
It's a
I guarantee he's playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, it's incumbent upon you though, as the interviewer, whatever situation you're in. John, if you're on doing this show and we get Tracy Guns on or somebody like that, it's an incumbent responsibility upon you to get your shit together and to know what the hell you're talking about. And if the artist trusts that you know your shit, and that's the most important thing in the first minute of the interview, you have to establish that you know your shit and that they can trust you and feel comfortable. That's why Howard Stern is so good at what he does, is because he disarms the interview subject and makes them disclose something that they may not originally want to disclose. I will tell you this. I will ask Valerie Bertinelli before we ever even turn on the microphones, before we ever go on the air. Valerie, before we get going here, is there anything you don't want to talk about? And it's the most amazing disarming question, because then they realize you care about making sure this is going to be a good experience. And usually they're cool about it. Usually they're very cool about it. But it's incumbent upon you. You got to do your part too. You can't just go in there and wing it. You got to know what the fuck you're talking about. And if you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to see right through you, and it's going to be a shitty interview.
And by the way, just to dive into the chat real quick, Leo Safko, I am not making fun of Pat Harrington. I'm having fun with Pat Harrington. I like Schneider.
Was awesome.
We're just having a little fun. But make no mistake, when David Crosby kicks the bucket, you bet I will be dancing a jig. I will be tap dancing on cars while they're moving. I will be peeing my name on his grave. Absolutely. I will be bashing David Crosby when he's dead. In fact, we're going to have like an 8-hour marathon, a Crosby bash-a-thon when he's dead. Absolutely.
Yes. Jesus Rapesme, there is a way to listen outside of Arizona. Just go to KSLX.com. We have an app, and you can stream the station on the website. Any radio station that doesn't stream on the internet right now is going to soon be changing format out of business. So yeah, you can listen. And we are on 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mountain Time, which is Arizona time for us. Mountain Time.
Yeah. Folgers coffee comes from those mountains, John.
But yeah, we're gonna and you're right, can't drive 55. You really can't talk about things that are going to be incendiary unless she's an incendiary person. If you've got somebody that's an asshole, and you've got an exclusive interview with somebody who's a notorious asshole, and it's beneficial to you to get them to hang up on you, then yeah, you do that.
That's a moment right now for Johnny to flash the David Crosby image. It's not here.
But you gotta, and by the way, but Valerie Bertinelli is not one of those people. Mitch Malloy is. Mitch Malloy is the kind of guy that you get him on and you go, hey, Mitch, I'm not going to bullshit you. What the fuck are you doing? What you're doing is disingenuous. If they're being famous, if they're famous for a lie or they're famous for deception, then yes, you got to go there. If you're the kid from what's the Harvey Levin show? TMZ. If you're the blonde hair surfer dude kid from TMZ who got bounced out of the Van Halen showcase because he was too fucked up and got sloppy and they had to remove him. Yes, that's the first thing you go with because that's what you're famous for. If you're famous for being, we had, who's the porn star? Houston.
John Mancuda. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Houston, this girl, she at one point, and for those that don't know, Houston has is famous for doing a thing called the Houston 500, which is Houston taking on 500 guys in one section.
Yes. And that 76-ounce steak challenge, which is also someone taking a lot of meat in their mouth. Same thing.
So Houston,
they got a T-shirt.
Houston is in the studio. This was in.
I'm sorry, real quick, Paulie, just because it's the moment. Speaking of taking 500 guys, delicious Bang energy drink. Proud to mention delicious Bang energy drink, Wild in Watermelon, which is basically the same thing as taking on 500 guys, 500 loads of deliciousness in your mouth, and wash it out with delicious Bang energy drink. Always the right drink at the most inappropriate moment. Thank you, Paul.
So Houston comes into the studio, and
I hope she wiped it up.
She's famous for gangbang movies, and she's famous for also she shows up in a pink bathrobe and nothing underneath it. And just, she's walking into the studio, she's flashing people. So she's in the studio and she's famous. She had just had her labia shaved and auctioned it off on eBay. I'm not making this up. So the midday guy on the radio station, it was the Blitz in Columbus. I was the morning guy.
That's midday guy is Mark Dillon, right? Or is that someone else? Oh, Mark Dillon's in the chat. I'm sorry, Mark. No,
the midday guy was fuck, I forget his name.
Blue Rhino.
It doesn't matter.
John
he's on 99.7 The Blitz in Columbus, Ohio. And I was the morning guy on the sister station, the Eagle. So we were literally in two different studios, but it was happening. We got off the air at 10, and Scoop had Houston on at like 10:30, and she was coming in. You know, she was dancing at some fucking strip bar or whatever. So she shows up in the pink bathrobe, and she's all done up, and she had just sold her labia on eBay.
Nice.
And one of Scoop's questions was, "All right, Houston, you have a 9-year-old daughter.
Who's the father?
No. How are you going to explain to your 9-year-old daughter in 2 or 3 years when she understands what you do for a living? How are you going to explain that to her in a way that will make sense? Or how are you going to deal with her when her classmates tell her who her mother is?
Who's your daddy and what does he do?"
And so there is a it's not a controversial question, but it's the kind of question that will certainly be one that everybody would ask. You would ask the same thing. You know, how is it how do you get into a relationship with Jenna Jameson, or how do you get into a relationship with Nina Hartley, knowing who they are, knowing how much tread is left on that tire, all the things that come with it? How do you date somebody like that? How do you
kiss knowing that tangy taste in her mouth is 500 gentlemen?
Just saying, you don't. How do you marry a porn star? It's an interesting question. I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it. But some people can. Some people, that's their world. It's a question that is a normal question that people would ask. And Scoop asked the question, how are you going to explain to your 9-year-old daughter when she starts to understand who it is that you are and what you do and how you've made your living and has put the roof over your head? And Houston was furious, ended the interview and walked out. I'm like, wait a second. You just showed up naked under a pink bathrobe and showed everybody in the fucking building your tits and ass. You are famous for gangbang films, and you sold your labia on eBay. But we asked you a simple question. It was about her family, and she didn't want to talk about her family. And so she walked out. And that's a win. That's a win for the guy on the air, because it's a legitimate question that's not controversial that caused her to freak out and walk out. So he's got nothing to be ashamed of. It's her fuck up.
Well, no matter what, don't ask Valerie about her labia or Betty White's labia.
I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that Valerie Bertinelli walks away from there. And by the way, Valerie and I used to email years ago when she was on the Van Halen internet list. I will not bring that up because I don't know what her memory of it is. And by the way, we're only going to have like 10 minutes. It's like,
ask her if she's changed Johnny's lights at all, or if she watches Johnny on Twitch. Say, do you should ask all the questions John, that every other interview does not.
John, you never know who's watching this stuff.
Yeah, I'm not.
You never know.
It could be Val.
I'm not going to take it to that way. Despite my appearances on this show every Tuesday, I have integrity. And I'm a professional, and I'm good at what I do. And I will not take the opportunity to piss off Valerie Bertinelli for no good reason. There's no good reason for it. She's done nothing wrong. It'd be different if she was an asshole, if she were, I don't know, like I said, Mitch Malloy, if she were somebody that people genuinely think is Sebastian Bach. There's good reason to needle Sebastian Bach. You know, for dumb shit. You know, no, but Sebastian Bach has a big issue with Chris Jericho. Hey, Bass, what do you?
I have a big issue with Chris Jericho.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, so you bring that up, but that's the most interesting thing going on in Sebastian Bach and Chris Jericho's worlds right now is why are you guys fucking throwing shit at each other? You're both 60. Knock it off. Fuck is wrong with you? Grow up.
And that reminds me, Colleen just walked in on the chat, and she said she just came in on the words Betty White's labia. So welcome. You missed the 500 gangbang conversation. So you're a little late, Colleen.
Colleen,
late.
Thanks for coming by. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Because I know if we keep going down this road, you alienate people, and that's the whole point I was trying to make out.
Yes. Make out is the key word. Try to make out with Valerie.
What did Houston ever do to you? Houston never did anything to me.
And that's why we're pissed.
No, I'm not pissed at all. No thanks. No thanks. You know,
you don't want to be number 496.
I don't see any appeal in doing 100 miles an hour on the Autobahn. There's been enough people that have done it.
You know, it's funny. Imagine like you're hired for that gangbang, and they like place you in order. You take tickets, and your ticket's like $4.99, and the director's like, okay, you on the breasts, she'll blow you. You get a hand job, and you $4.99. You get to eat the pussy.
Yeah, no, it's
like licking a car wash during the sudsing section.
If you want to hear going,
those are her vaginal lips.
Like Steve Barton,
like a car wash.
Steve Barton.
If you want to hear how to fuck with somebody and have them stay with you,
big enough to drive a car through too.
Go to my website, go to Neanderthal.com and go to the radio section and look to there's an interview up there called I Called Scott Stapp a Douchebag. And I did.
Douchebag?
We're in the middle of an interview, and because Scott Stapp is genuinely considered a douchebag. So we're in the middle of the interview, and I said, Scott, I'm going to be honest with you. There are many people out there who think of you as a douchebag. And his response was, well, tell it like it is. I go, I'm just telling you. I didn't make it up. I'm not to.
He didn't throw Orangina bottle at you.
He was fine with it. He stayed on with me for like another 15 minutes. He was great about
Orangina.
it because he got it. You know, he understood that that's something he had to deal with. It's a question you have to deal with in those situations.
Yeah. Yeah. And Bo Zeke asks this, brings up strippers. Yeah. I've dated dancers before. You got to talk about them in advance before you date them, man, because some of them do things in the VIP room and some of them just stick with the rules. So you got to kind of establish that. If the VIP room walks out, guy walks out and he's like dancing on air and your girl's like, nothing happened. Yeah. She's lying. She's lying.
Like if you haven't seen the
132 thumbs up on the video right now. If you haven't left a thumbs up and you're in the chat, leave a thumbs up right now.
The Ray Donovan movie. There's a great moment where young Ray Donovan is in the bar, meeting his future wife, but his current girlfriend at the time is in the bathroom doing blow with his old man, and a variety of other things. You just can't. I'm not saying. I'm saying porn stars usually stay dating within the industry because those guys get it.
Literally,
there is a lot of crossover between musicians and strippers and actors and shit like that, and everybody has that conversation. They know what they're getting into going into the relationship.
Doesn't last.
Rarely, like the Kurt Russell Goldie Hawn thing is an anomaly. That's an anomaly that never lasts.
Yeah, and
which one of them was a stripper?
Well,
I meant with porn stars and strip and
oh yeah, no,
and
I've never
regular people.
Yeah, I've never seen I've never seen a relationship between a porn star and a non-industry related person work. It doesn't exist.
No.
And Colleen just fingered us. Thank you, Colleen. Oh, wait, thumbed us. Yes, thank you. Thumbed up. Thank you. And Janice Lala in the chat wants vagina now.
It's filthy place.
Janice Lala in the chat wants vagina now. Or Orangina. I'm sorry. Orangina. I'm looking. My screen's full of Bang energy drink. I'm sorry.
Did you tell them that? You didn't tell them that. That was
yeah, if you're coming in late, I at the top of the show, I opened up a delicious Bang energy drink to get that 500 loads out of your mouth taste, and it blew up all over my screen. So my computer, all over my laptop, and my camera and everything was covered in Bang energy drinks. So welcome to Tech More on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
There you go.
Come here.
Oh, Bozika, you got fleeced by a girl. Yeah, listen, if you date a dancer, you have to really like know what you're getting into. Because look, a lot of them, look, customers are customers. If you meet them outside the club, you're more likely to have like a normal relationship. If you meet them in the club, you better just let them know that, you're just there, and respect, tip them, because they are entertaining you, but don't go in for the lap dance, because then you're a customer.
I have two of my favorite people in the world are ex-roommates that were strippers. When I was in our band, when we were in our band doing our thing, two of my roommates were strippers. They paid their rent in cash. None of us ever got hooked up. They're different people. They're different out of the club than they are inside the club, and you just need to know that going into it.
Totally, yeah.
So you just don't deal with any of that stuff.
No, look, I'm friends with a lot of dancers. I've dated a lot of dancers. Yep. You really have to, know what the deal is.
And if Jenna is still
what they're after.
No, Tito Ortiz and Jenna Jameson have been gone for a long time. Jenna Jameson is in failing health right now. She has something. I'm
sure she has everything. What are you talking about? Something.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It never. And no, by the way, having a stripper hit on you, it's happened. I'm
big difference between a stripper and a porn star, by the way, guys.
Yes, there is a huge difference.
Huge difference.
There's a funny thing.
Your average stripper, your average dancer is coming in there as an entertainer. She's dancing, she's pole dancing, she may do lap dances. A select bunch of them do certain things in the VIP room that turns them into, prostitutes on the sly. But, if you're dating one, you should definitely get the rules of the road of what your girl is or is not doing. Because a lot of them are just, some are putting themselves through school or looking, the money is fantastic. And some of them are very nice.
That's what they say in Grand Theft Auto. There's a lot of
strippers. They're selling a fantasy.
And as they're walking around, their quotes, the stuff they say is like, oh, I'm paying.
Like what, Johnny? Go ahead, say it.
My school bills, or it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you have to realize that that dancers are entertainers. When you're in the club, you're there to pay their bills. Basically, they're there to entertain you, and that's the relationship you have. Once they're out of the club, all bets are off. They don't want to hang out with you after the club. It's a fantasy, unless you literally establish a relationship with someone on a rare occasion. But you have to be, you have to know how to do that. It's like, it's very true.
There was
look, some of them do have horrendous lives. Some are drug addicts. Some are single moms. Some are, blah, blah, blah. But others just do it because the money's easy. You got to learn that too.
There was a girl that I worked with at one of the radio stations, and I won't say what city it was in, but she was a part-time on-air personality at the radio station. And she is, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 13. She's beautiful in every way, shape, and form. She's covered in tattoo ink.
What number?
She's built She's
Phone number?
built. She's built like Salma Hayek, except tight, just beautiful. She's as good looking as it gets. She was a stripper in San Francisco. She would drive down from where we worked to San Francisco and Vegas. She would go to 2 different places in that region of the country. She would either drive or fly in, and she would feature dance for 2 or 3 days a week. And I asked her about it. I said, why are you doing this? You're smart. You're clearly talented. You're beautiful. You've got a great boyfriend. He understood it. He was a musician. He understood what they were doing. And she said, look, I have this body. It's a gift. I dance in upscale clubs. Nobody can reach across the rail. They can't touch me. I'm not fully nude. I'm just topless with a G-string on. And in a matter of 20 minutes, I can make my month's rent. So I do that for 3 nights a week in a major city. I have security around me. I'm not a whore. I'm not giving it up. Like I'm an upscale feature dancer. And I just bought $1 million house, and I'm putting together money to put together a boutique, like a shoe and handbags and leather boutique and stuff like that to open my own business. I only have this body for so long. Now, that said, that was over 20 years ago. She still has that body. She still looks fucking fantastic in her late 40s.
Do you still have her phone number? And does she still have that boyfriend?
They're married. They've been married for almost 20 years. They're a great couple. They're great people, but she figured out how to work the system to her benefit. And so there's a great example of somebody who worked the system, isn't a whore, isn't strung out on drugs, she just recognized, look, I'm hot and men are fucking stupid. Men will give me thousands of dollars a week. A week. She was making probably 10 G a fucking week.
Bozique lost $30,000 to his stripper ex. Now, I, on the other hand, have been spoiled rotten by some of my stripper exes because they make a fuckload of money. Yeah. You can't be a customer if you're going to date them, man.
Nope. She figured it out. She beat the system, and I have infinite respect for her. She was never trashy, but she was gorgeous, and I never went to see her dance. I said to her, I go, I'm going to show up in the club one of these nights. She goes, oh, please don't. I couldn't do it. Like she goes, I'd start breaking down and laughing. I said, I'm not going to embarrass you. I said, you can whip them out here right now, and I'll give you $1. And she's like, don't be
No, look, men and money get separated very quickly and very easily when it comes to girls. And, some guys are just really stupid. I'm sorry to say it, fellas, but come on, own it.
If she didn't have a girlfriend, I have a boyfriend, and I weren't married at the time, I would absolutely have married this girl. She was
there you go.
She was that great. She had her shit together. She's smart, and she won. And I wouldn't have any problem with her stripping because she had, I learned who she was and how her world worked. And I absolutely would have married this girl. She was awesome in every way, shape, and form. There's a girl, when everybody's talking about a crush, there's a girl I could legitimately have had a crush on and not even known it. I loved my wife at the time. I would never have cheated on my wife. But if I were single and she were single, I would have done everything in my world to lock that down.
There you go, man.
She was awesome. And she's a great human being. And super hot.
What's really funny is every time I've dated someone, my mother starts with the assumption she's a stripper and works her way down. So is she a whore? No, Ma. Well, what does she do? I want to talk about what she does. She's a stripper, isn't she? Meanwhile, the girl's a lawyer or something. I just don't want to tell her. I know she's a stripper. Look at her. She's a stripper.
I've seen a picture of the doctor, and that girl could have been a stripper.
That girl very much could have been a stripper.
She absolutely could have been. She was built for it.
I've actually dated a couple of doctors. I don't know. I've dated everything. You name it, I've probably dated it.
I've seen the doctor. You showed me the doctor. I've seen
that one doctor. Yes.
Yeah, I don't need no doctor. Bullshit. I do need that doctor.
You are here for your prostate exam again?
Yep.
Third time this week, Mr. Mancuda. Are you okay?
By the way, one of my friends pointed out something really funny. My friend Angela in Boston. She's like, she thinks it's interesting that when she goes to the OBGYN, that she's about to get up on the table. The doctor's about to look inside her body with the speculum and the light and all that shit, but she still feels the need to take her underwear and hide it underneath her clothing when she gets on. Like, there's this sense of modesty. Like, I don't want them to see my underwear. He's about to look at your uvula through your.
Yeah. Meanwhile, that doctor is trying to see your stomach from the inside. Pinocchio!
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so good.
It is great. He's sitting there with a car jack opening you up there.
Hang on one second. I have a dog barking. I don't know if you heard that. I got to make sure she's all right.
Yeah.
There's probably a stripper at the door.
Wow.
Johnny, have you ever dated a stripper?
No.
No?
No, thanks. No.
Johnny's married. He's done. Paul and I are single guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So glad to haven't had to deal with any of that.
How long have you been married, Johnny? You've been married a while, right?
20 years.
20 years. So you got married at age 9.
Yeah, I did.
That's good. That's good. No, Johnny was one of those arranged marriages. Johnny's in the playground. His parents walked him over to another set of parents with a little girl. Said, Johnny, this is who you're going to marry. We've worked it out. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Johnny Beane. That's nice. I like your jaunty driving cap. Thank you. I'm going to be a famous broadcaster. That's nice. You want to go on the Monkey Bars? Sure. And they've lived 20 years. God bless you, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So Paul will not ask Valerie Bertinelli about Mitch Malloy, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Tune in tomorrow on Paul's show and see what he comes up with. I have a feeling.
I guarantee you Mitch Malloy is not mentioned in that book at all.
Oh, I'm sure he's not mentioned in the book.
No.
I know he's not mentioned in the book.
He wishes he was.
Yeah, I know. Right now, he's like seeing if he could contact Val's publicist. Is there any way that you guys could, I don't know, since she was married to Van Halen, mention that I'm doing a Van Halen tour reunion kind of thing? Any way we could work that out?
Oh, man.
A little promotion. Thank you, Bang Energy Drink. A little promotion. Yeah, there we go. If you have not left a thumbs up on the video yet, please take a minute, leave a thumbs up, because
smash
why
it.
not? Smash that thumbs
up. We're at 50. 50. Can I see 51?
Yeah, go to it, 51, 51. Smash the like button, 51, 51, 52. Got 52 in the room, 50 going in a minute, 53, 53, 50, 54. Oh, jump the bid, 54, 54 in the room, 55 going at 56. Can I see 56 thumbs up? 56 going in. There we go.
Yeah, we have 118 watching on YouTube alone tonight.
Well, that's in the chat. There's more watching that are not in the chat, of course, but in the chat, we count on you because you are right near the thumbs up button.
In the chat. See, you can actually tell. You can actually tell.
We count.
3, 6.
Yeah. We're gonna go for 3 hours. We're gonna go for 3 hours tonight, Colin.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly 3 hours. At 3 hours, you're going to see the credits rolling. When that clock says 3 hours, you're going to see all the credits rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
Well, Keith Campbell, you're not looking close enough. Thank you.
You see 5?
He's only got one eye open.
I see 5th thumbs up.
He's only got one eye. He's only got one eye open up. It's only 5 people watching the show. Oh, another sad episode. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Colleen, you're going to pick up a friend from the airport. Is it someone cute? Is it a guy? Is it a girl? Is your husband home? What's going on? Are you having a pajama pillow party? Are you having a pajama jammy jam? I mean, is this something you should video and send in? I mean, what's going on?
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, Colleen, you can listen to the show while you're riding to the airport.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't need to look at us. There's nothing to look at on the screen. And the only thing there is to see is his guitar. But you can also tune in audio, and it's just as good.
Hellstorm brings up, you'll like this, Mancuda. I got to ask Charlie Benante what his fave Kiss bass line was. He said Going Blind, and I said Almost Human. Favorite Kiss bass line? Let's see. Ooh.
Can you actually hum? Can you actually hum any Kiss bass lines?
God of Thunder and rock and roll. I'm probably going to go with God of Thunder because that one is really infectious, especially like when he's got, the kids like running in the background and they're talking. I like God of Thunder is probably my favorite bass line. Leo Safko says Strutter. I don't know. I mean, Kiss is one of those bands that, you have to realize Gene Simmons is the bass player, and he's like one of the big stars of the show. So Kiss gets to do a lot of strong bass parts. All right, Colleen, we'll dodge that tricky subject. So we'll leave that part alone. But listen, as far as the pillow party, just take photos. I was saying, a lot of bands, the bass player is, the afterthought. But then you have some bands, Mr. Big, Billy Sheehan is a big part of that band. So he gets a lot of bass line, different genre, but Flea, of course, for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, very, big bass player. And that's okay, Colleen. You don't have to share them publicly. I just said take photos and send them. But anyway, Gene is a big part of Kiss, and as such, he gets to put out some serious bass lines. So, that is one of the bands that you do notice the bass player. A lot of bands, the bass player is an afterthought. Danger, Bruno Ravel. Him and Steve West formed that band. So you're going to see a lot of good bass lines in Danger. Naughty, their biggest hit was what was that? What is funny, John?
I don't know. Danger, Naughty. It's like double.
Yeah,
that's
twice.
But that's
their other follow-up was Bang Bang. So
yeah, so there you go. It's no, Paulie's right. That's no joke.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, Johnny doesn't know, so he's like, that's good, man. Good. Oh wait, you serious? You serious?
It's a
Kip Winger is another one.
Who's what? I missed part.
We're talking about. We shifted gears. We're talking about. Someone asked, what's your favorite bass line from a Kiss song? Mine is God of Thunder. At least off the top of my head, unless I really sit and examine it, maybe I'll come up with something else. But I really like God of Thunder. But a lot of bands pretty much ignore the bass player or put him in the background a lot. Not really ignore them, but they're in the background compared to the singer and the guitarist. But then there's a couple. I brought up Kiss, Danger, Mr. Big.
By the way, watching you, the bass line to Watching You from Kiss,
Winger,
is fantastic.
Yeah, there's another good one. Certain bands, the bass player is a major part of their sound. Again, Bruno Ravel formed Danger, so he gets a lot of bass in there. Naughty, the whole big thing was the bass line.
You can't. I mean, it begins and ends with Steve Harris.
Okay,
Steve Harris is the focal point of everything Iron Maiden does, and is the guy that makes it go round. So yeah, I'm not saying he's better at anything. I'm just saying.
But do you notice a lot? Do you notice? But do you notice him very prominent in Maiden comparatively?
Yes. Those bass lines are stunningly intricate, and the essential sound, that galloping bass line, that sort of Renaissance bass line. It's in every fucking Iron Maiden song. It is the signature sound of the band. That's Steve Harris. Yeah. Steve Harris, he's a finger player, and he's got the fastest fingers I've ever seen on a guy's right hand. He is as good.
Oh, you haven't seen me on a date.
He's as good as it gets when it comes to that. If there's a band,
they call me Johnny G Spot.
If there's a band that's completely focused around the bass player in 80s hard rock / heavy metal, it is absolutely unequivocally Iron Maiden. I would say bass tones, guys like Doug Pinnick and Steve Harris have identifiable bass tones in 80s hard rock. Tones. Those are guys that when I hear Billy Sheehan play, I know it's Billy Sheehan. When I hear
Sheehan was another one I brought up. Sheehan was another one.
When I hear Doug Pinnick play, I know it's Doug Pinnick. When I
Phil Lynott.
Phil's not a fantastic. He's not a bass player that you know the minute you hear him playing, but his voice combined with his bass playing makes a full package.
Lexi Fox, guys, no more.
There's just some of those guys that you've got to hear. When you hear them, you know what they sound like. Claypool is one of those guys. Obviously, they're not an 80s metal hard rock band, but Lemmy, absolutely. Lemmy is a guy that you know his sound the minute you hear it. Newstead doesn't have an iconic bass sound. He's a good bass player.
And Newstead got ignored on the Justice for All.
Yeah, no, Newstead is a serviceable, very good bass player, but there's nothing outstanding outside of Jason Newstead other than the fact that he was in Metallica. And
I mentioned Flea, Colleen.
I like Jason. Flea. Tony Franklin, absolutely, because he's one of the few guys in 80s hard rock metal that plays fretless, and that's a unique sound. There are certain guys that you know when you hear them. Again, we're staying in that 80s hard rock area, Leo. I mean, yes, Geddy Lee, Chris Squire, Jack Bruce, Entwistle, those guys they're more classic rock. They're the generation before what we're talking about. What we're talking about is guys that, like Nikki Sixx, not a great bass player.
But notable in the band. Very notable in the band.
But the band is not, the music of that band does not revolve around his bass lines, unlike a band like Primus or a band like Talus. I mean, Talus.
But they definitely stand out, though. And by the way, Bruno Revell and Billy Sheehan both in Talus, should be noted.
Yeah, there's
Cliff Burton.
Yeah. Cliff absolutely had a unique bass sound. Yes.
And that's interesting because Cliff, prominent in the mix. Jason, not so much.
Cliff wrote a lot too. Cliff was responsible. Remember, Cliff was a Rush fan, so he, Rush and Lemmy.
Yeah, Cliff's notes.
They loved the fact that Cliff played the Rickenbacker bass because that's what Lemmy played, and Cliff was a Rush fan, which is why those early Metallica records were so intricate and so good, because he was the best musician in that band. That's a fact.
Rudy Sarzo, absolutely.
Rudy Sarzo, decent bass player, a lot of chorus in his sound. I don't know that he's unique, that you would know if you played.
But he's prominent. I'm talking guys who are prominent in the band, right. Prominent in the mix, prominent as a character.
Yeah, but
Kip Winger, Gene Simmons, those guys are major parts of the band. They're not like, okay, the bass is in the background, no one's paying attention to the bass player. Yeah. Billy Sheehan, same thing.
And again, we stay out of the world of Stings and Chris Squires and John Entwistles and John Paul Jones.
That's different.
Like, that's a different genre. And by the way, all of them are fucking great. They're all great.
Sure.
In fact, Chris Squire used to live down the street from me, not too far, less than 5 miles from me. He lived in Ahwatukee, Arizona, which is on the other side of I-10 from Tempe, Arizona.
Is that by Lickinookie, Arizona?
Yeah. He used to come into the radio station. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. 6'6", super nice guy. Got him to sign my Fish Out of Water CD. Just a super, super cool guy. I am really, really bummed out that he didn't live to see Yes's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A band, as much as we shit on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there are certain bands, if you're going to have a Hall of Fame, there are certain bands that deserve to be in there, and Yes was one of those bands.
Michael Anthony, absolutely Michael Anthony.
Michael Anthony more famous for his voice than his bass lines, though.
And I was about to say the same thing with Jeff Pilson. Michael Anthony, and there it is. Michael Anthony and Jeff Pilson. How does he get those up so fast? Michael Anthony and Jeff Pilson.
He's got
both very big on the signature sound. Jeff Pilson, the chorus on Dokken.
Yeah,
and
it's his voice. Their voices are way more important than their bass playing.
But still, prominent player is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got.
Again, I don't know that I would call Cheap Trick a hard rock band, but yeah, there's probably elements of hard. The earlier Cheap Trick, specifically early, from the early 70s all the way through to Budokan, they were certainly more punky, a little more hard rock than they became after that. And yes, absolutely, Tom Peterson is absolutely a unique bass player because he plays that fucking 12-string bass.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I saw that Crucier is a unique bass player. He's a big part of the performance aspect of Rat. John's fantastic Colleen Gray as far as Blue Murder goes, and Blue Murder was a great band. I've met Carmine.
Underrated.
Yes, I've met Carmine a couple of times, and he said that he would love to get back together with Tony and John. It just wasn't meant to be. John doesn't like to come out of his house. He's like,
I don't know what is with John Sykes lately. Like, where did he go?
I don't know.
He follows me on Facebook.
Does he watch you on Twitch?
Hopefully.
Doug Wimbish is an interesting character study because I would say that Muzz Skillings was more unique as a bass player in living color than Doug Wimbish. Doug is great, but Muzz was more funky. The first couple of Living Color records before Doug joined the band, I think, had more groove to them. I think Doug and Will play okay together, but I think Muzz and Will locked in. I think that was a great rhythm section.
Oh, we got a phone call coming in.
Tony, it's me. It's you with an Australian accent.
Let's see. Is it your car warranty, Johnny?
Hello?
Hey, Johnny, it's Kurt with a C.
Hey, Kurt with a C.
Hey, Kurt.
How you doing?
Great, man.
Welcome.
Hey, I just tuned in a second ago. Apparently, you guys are talking about bass players.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you throw out the name Stu Ham?
Yeah, Stu's a jazz player, though. He's not a hard rock bass player.
Different
genre. But yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Paul's answering you. He's answering you right now on the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not at the TV because it throws me off.
All right.
Anyway, he played with Satch. Well, you guys know who Stu Ham is.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
I saw him in the bathroom at NAMM one year.
Nice.
Wait, Johnny, what were you doing?
Nice,
Johnny, were you stalking? Johnny likes to slide under
he walked
the
in after
stall
me.
and look at you when you're on the toilet. Johnny kind of, hey.
After I've been following you.
He walked in after me, and I felt really bad for him because I was washing my hands. As he walks in the bathroom, everybody in the bathroom turned around, and somebody's like, "That's Stu Ham."
Johnny followed him into the stall and was laying toilet paper on the seat.
To the urinal. And I felt really embarrassed for him that somebody to get recognized in the bathroom like that is just weird.
Well, yeah, and he's one of those guys that probably wouldn't get recognized anywhere. I have a 10 seconds to him. Every time I hear his name, including when I just said it. 91, 92, I'm living in Seattle. A buddy and I went to see Satch. Got too drunk before the show. By the time we get in there, it's half over, and every note that Stu was hitting with that bass was hitting me in the head, and we had to leave.
Wow.
We probably made it. We probably made it 3 songs. So, for an ongoing joke for like a year was that goddamn Stu Ham.
Well, Johnny, you didn't take any photos of you and Stu in the bathroom?
No,
like you don't have a reference to bring that one up? No.
So anyway, it was funny. But anyway, I thought I'd chime in because I turned it on in the middle of your guys' conversation when you were throwing out bass players' names, and I didn't know if someone had thrown out Stu's name yet.
Well, you missed the conversation where we were talking about a 500-person gangbang.
And Geddy Lee, not great, but he's okay.
Geddy's great.
Geddy's very, very good.
Well, I mean, there are a couple of guys that we've left out. Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith.
I'll clear the line. Have a good show, Johnny.
All right. Thanks for calling, man.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah, the bass lines and kicks. Kicks isn't as good a band. The bass player, he wrote all. I think it's Donnie Purnell. He wrote all of the funk of Kicks. Kicks doesn't have quite the same funk that they did when Donnie was in the band. But he's and Stu, just for clarity's sake, Stu did play with Satriani. Stu did play with Steve Vai, but those are two guys who come from the Zappa sort of more jazz. Stu
and Skolnick. Stu and Skolnick played a lot together. They still do, actually.
When they do their jazz stuff, when they do that, that's Stu's not a rock bass player. Stu is a jazz bass player who can play rock. He's a, I mean, he can play anything. Stu has one of the greatest bass players on the planet.
That's how it works. So you can't switch it around. Jazz players can play rock, but rock players can't play jazz.
Not all of them.
A whole different world.
Not all of them. No, I mean you've got to be a special kind of bass player to be able to play on stage with a guy like Satriani and a guy like Steve Vai, because those guys play a million notes and they have very, very intricate modal music, as we've talked about on Saturday with Shredders. You've got this. There's just an intricate pattern. You've got to be educated to get into that world.
Would you consider Stu Ham a shredder?
Yes.
But you also have to realize when you're playing with Steve Vai or Joe Satriani, you're not going to be a standout bass player unless you're literally something like Billy Sheehan during the DLR band, during like Elephant Gun or something like that, where you're playing right along with Steve. I mean, how many guys can do that and stand out?
When Billy and Johnny, wait for it. When Billy and Paul Gilbert are doing their twin guitar solos on stage and Addicted to That Rush.
There it is.
Yep. It's fantastic. Tony Levin, great bass player. Again, more jazz than hard rock. And again, Flea and Les
Dana Strum. Dana Strum, I'll put up there.
Flea and Les Claypool are not really hard rock bass players. They're more funk jazz bass player. Primus is a jazz band played very loud. They're not we already talked about Stu Jay. Welcome to the program.
Jay just walked in after the conversation.
But I'm kicking Jay in the balls for no reason.
I actually like Keith Campbell's comment. I walked into Billy Idol getting a knobber in the upstairs stall at the original New York City Hard Rock Cafe from downtown Julie Brown. Now, mind you, nothing to do with bass players, but everything to do with rhythm. So thank you, Keith Campbell. Hopefully Johnny was there under the stall watching as usual, taking photos and making notes.
Yes, Hal Face, you did make a solid Urge joke. I have the album. Yeah, I mean, I as a guy that I'm a better bass player than I am a guitar player. I love good bass guitar. Bootsy Collins and Flea and I mean Jocko. I mean, if you really want to get into some of these guys,
G.G. Allen played bass.
No.
Oh, I didn't know. I just heard
Lawrence, Derek Smalls.
Derek
Smalls.
There you go. I mean, hey, let me tell you, Derek Smalls with that big double bass bitch, that BC Rich bitch, double neck. That was no joke.
I love how
Derek
Smalls' visual was based on Joey DeMeo and Lemmy. It was a combination. It was a combination of Joey DeMeo and Lemmy. And then the bass guitar was striped up like Eddie's guitar. So it was just so brilliantly done, brilliantly put together. Rick Savage is an okay bass player, Drew. Nobody in Def Leppard is, and I say this respectfully because I think Phil Collins is a great guitar player, and I think that Steve Clark wrote fantastic songs. But nobody in Def Leppard is a virtuoso musician. They're not. There's some of the parts. Vivian Campbell's probably the best technical guitar player that's ever been. Well, Steve Brown from Trickster when he plays with Def Leppard, but nobody. T.M. Stevens, great, original Paramutant. T.M. Stevens, Philip Bino, those are two great guys that have played with Vai. But again, more jazz than they are hard rock bass players.
And how standout are they? I mean, is that a name you drop to most music guys and they'll know? Oh yeah, absolutely. Not so much. Not like Billy Sheehan or Gene Simmons.
Colleen, you're right. Joey Vera is very responsible for the bottom end and the groove that is Armored Saint, and turned down the bass player slot in Metallica before Cliff took it. Fun fact: Joey Vera was supposed to be was asked to be the bass player in Metallica before Cliff.
Again, Sid Vicious, different genre.
Yeah, Sid was pretty badass.
No, totally. I mean, look,
He was awful in a great way. I mean, obviously Glenn Matlock was the guy that played all the bass lines on the record, but Sid was a great character. He's one of the greatest characters, and obviously tragedies. Very, very accurately portrayed by the legendary Gary Oldman and Sid and Nancy. What a great fucking movie.
That reminds me, are you guys going to watch the Tommy and Pam miniseries? Because that looks really good, actually.
I mean, the casting looks fantastic.
I saw the preview reel. Did you see the preview reel, Paulie?
No.
I saw the preview reel. Did you guys in the chat see the preview reel for Tommy and Pam? Because I've been looking forward to this because I love that story, the way it unwound. Wow. And I love that video. But it looks really good. The casting was already good, but it looks like they really are nailing the characters pretty well, and the story's real interesting.
So to speak.
See what I did there?
Yeah, the characters are nailing each other.
Did somebody make a Nichelle and Degiacello reference? Holy shit!
Who?
Nichelle and Degiacello. Nichelle and Degiacello is she's a bass player. She's bald, African American bass player. She played the bass on John Mellencamp's cover John Mellencamp's cover of Wild Night, the Van Morrison song Wild Night. She's the bass player on that. She's a fantastic bass player. I mean, if we're going to talk about, great female bass players, Nichelle and Degiacello is one of them. Tal Wilkenfeld, another one. Fantastic female bass player.
There you Susie go. Quattro. There you go.
Susie Quattro, I mean, that's where Joan Jett stole her entire look from.
Let's see.
Oh, Mancuda's just loud, dry heat 480.
Yeah, what it is, I have a suppository in my anus, so I'm a little high pitched today. I tried the new COVID test. What it was is you basically stick your finger up your ass, and if you smell it and you smell nothing, you probably have COVID. But if you smell shit, you're probably okay. So that's what happened to me. Yeah.
Tubin.
By the way, that's not scientific. Don't listen to me for medical advice. That's not real. Because I know some guys in the audience are like, all right, man, Cuda, you said it, and I'm going to do it.
Big Wreck is a fantastic band, but they're not an 80s hard rock band, but they are a great band, and their bass player is great. One of my favorite bands that nobody has ever heard of, unless you're from Canada. So if you're looking for a great sort of modern hard rock band with a singer that sounds sometimes like Chris Cornell, and he's a great guitar player and writes fantastic songs, Ian Thornley and the band Big Wreck are well worth your time. Dig into them.
Dig in after 500 men.
And yes, Jeff Beck's bass player is Tal Wilkenfeld. She's fantastic.
But again, we're talking standout characters that
right?
That
you got guys like Cliff Williams and Ian Hill who are just rock solid in the back. They just do their thing.
But that's not it.
To be said for that. No, there's something to be said for that because it's difficult because those bands are not intricate, but you know who they are. Like that's one of the things that I always point out to people when they talk about, well, why do you care about these 80s bands? I'm like, because we knew everybody in the band.
Good.
You could name everybody in Dokken by name. You could name everybody in Motley Crue. You could name, we all know who. I mean, I pulled Donnie Purnell out of Kicks. You knew who those guys were. Who plays rhythm guitar in Nickelback? Who fucking cares? And that's the point.
Yeah, you would go into Metal Edge magazine and see pinups of them listing them by name. You would know every member of the bands like you would know the Beatles. You would know every member of the Beatles. You would know every member of Poison. You would know every member of Winger. You know every member of Warrant. You would get to know these characters.
You cared about those. Glenn Hughes is a name drop. Glenn Hughes. Most people don't know Glenn Hughes as a great bass player. They know him as a great bass player / singer. There's a great example of a guy who has the combination of a sick voice. Glenn Hughes is such an amazing thing because he's a total name drop. Most people have no idea who he is, couldn't care less who he is until you see and hear him. And then you go, oh, that guy, he's pretty cool. He sneaks up on. Totally sneaks up on you. But he's not a household name. He's not a guy that if I said to you, I'm putting together a band, I have to have Glenn Hughes in it. And I think his best work is the Black Country Communion stuff. But again, nobody cares. His work with Deep Purple was okay, but he split it. Again, no matter how good Deep Purple was with Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale in it, it wasn't Ian Gillan and Richie Blackmore. And that will always be the rap on it. You'll never be what Ian Gillan and Richie Blackmore were in Deep Purple. Even though Steve Morse has been in Deep Purple longer than Blackmore, Blackmore is the guy.
Wow, there's been a lot of people in Deep Purple.
Yeah.
They've had
Deep Purple and Black Sabbath have had a revolving
and Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Total. And usually they were all three of those bands were intertwining, you notice.
Yeah, well, they're all Deep Purple, Whitesnake, Rainbow. I mean, it was who could work with Blackmore the longest. And then if you didn't want
to work
with Blackmore, Cozy Powell or Roger Glover, those guys would end up over in Whitesnake for a while. And then they'd end up in Rainbow, and then they'd end up doing, LA Guns. Nobody's notable. The only two people anybody gives a shit about at LA Guns are Tracy and Phil.
And Phil.
The rest of it, who gives a fuck?
Speaking of knowing all the members of bands, they have this new tour going on for the 90s crowd called the When We Were Young tour.
Who cares?
And I saw the lineup. Did you guys see this? I saw the lineup, and it's a big poster of all these band logos. And I think like maybe 3 to 4 of them out of like 50. And it's like just all these bands that nobody really gives a shit about. And I look at like the same thing during 80s tours, and I see like, I know every one of them. I know every one of the names that I see up there. But Johnny, bring up the poster for that.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, the When We Were Young tour. I want to see how many in the chat recognize these names that had like 30 seconds of fame in the depressed crowd.
A couple of other decent bass players that people mentioned. Sure, Duff McKagan is a good bass player.
Duff's a good example.
Yeah, he's a great bass player who's a character. Ron Keel was in Mike Neese. Ron Keel was in Black Sabbath briefly for about 9 days, something like that.
4 days. There we go.
I mean, I don't care about any of these bands. AFI is a decent band, but I don't care about them. And this is all supposed to happen in one day, by the way. It's supposed to be.
I know. Yeah, I know. My Chemical. Yeah, because everyone there will be thinking how miserable they were then and how miserable they are now. I know 4 of them. I know My Chemical Romance, Paramore, AFI, and Avril Lavigne. After that, and Taking Back Sunday, I've heard of. Other than that, I don't know 90% of these.
Jimmy Eat World, it's all one-hit wonders. Everybody on that list is a one-hit wonder.
Jimmy Eat World. Alice. Wolfgang Van Halen was a huge fan of Jimmy Eat World.
Of course he was.
I believe.
Neck Deep, Maine, Mayday Parade, Purvis,
Mayday Parade,
Sosin.
No, there are a lot of
the Freddie set. How many people do you think are going to see the Freddie set?
It's the Ready set. Oh boy.
What is it? The Ready set?
It's the Ready set.
The Ready set. Johnny knows this.
I know this.
Johnny's got tickets in the second row of this concert already.
I know a lot of these names.
Yeah, Keith Campbell said it best. Who the fuck are these idiot bands?
No, you know what? There's an audience for those bands. It's funny because that audience, it'll be interesting to see if anybody in that crowd
hasn't already committed suicide.
That audience is now ruling the world.
Yes, that's the 25 to 54-year-old crowd. Those are the guys that's the music. That's all the music that replaced the hair bands.
All your bosses are going to be at that concert.
That's not even the music that replaced the hair bands. That's afterwards.
Yeah.
The music that replaced the hair bands was grunge. That was, Nirvana and Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam. They're not on this bill. This is like even after them.
Yeah, but those bands had hits. Taking Back Sunday, Dashboard Confessional, Bring Me the Horizon, The Used, AFI, Alkaline Trio, those Manchester Orchestra, Avril Lavigne. They've all had big hits.
Like I said, AFI, I know.
Not big hits to the mainstream, but to the crowd that likes that music, that is the equivalent of seeing Rat and Y&T and Riot and Saxon and Helix and those bands that we all think are great. That's that world. To that world, those are those bands.
Jay says Jeannie loves a lot of those bands.
I couldn't give a fuck about any of those bands. That said, that lineup for the people that dig those bands is a pretty good fucking lineup. I hate them, all of them. But it's not for me. I'm 53. That's although I can tell you that might be me. Jimmy Eat World and some of those bands have been around for 30 plus years.
Avril, I worked with on SNL, so I've seen her live. AFI, I liked them. I think, what was the song? Girls Not Gray?
AFI had a moment. Should have been
bigger.
Yeah,
it was a moment. That was it. But like, I couldn't give a shit about Horror Props, the Linda Lindas.
But also
in Vegas one day.
A lot of the members in all these bands are my age.
29.
So it's not like, yeah, I mean, well, no, a lot of these people are, I'll admit I'm in my 40s. Okay. A lot of these band members are in their 40s. It's not like these are kids.
No, I get it. My point is, this is like, like the millennium time period. And this is after MTV. This is after, they didn't have the exposure that the 80s bands did for us.
No, but all these bands are MySpace generation.
Yep.
Which is bigger than MTV.
That's not bigger than MTV, but there's nothing. It's not MTV.
No, for real. MTV. We would come home and watch MTV. I was on MySpace, but I wasn't like looking at band videos on MySpace.
No, it's
you weren't getting friend requests nonstop from bands. Say, hey, check us out.
No, I was getting friend requests from Tom.
MTV was the world's radio station, Johnny. You're not old enough to remember it, but it was the world's radio station.
Back in my day.
It changed the fucking world. Now, Facebook and MySpace and that stuff, that was great. But by that point, everything had been fragmented to the point. That's the thing about MTV was the one place where the whole world went to check out music. Whereas
is Paramore on this list?
Where MySpace was a place where everybody went, the audience was much smaller. The opportunity and the avenues and the venues and the opportunity and the collection of music was probably wider, but the audience was nowhere near as big for MySpace as it was for MTV. That's just not the same.
Yeah, Paramore is one of the few bands I know on here, and that I would see again. I saw them at Bamboozle. I saw Paramore live. So I met her and her boyfriend and blah blah blah.
Good for them.
No, they're great. They're great. I'll give them that. But like I said, other than the handful I know are 5. Out of those 5, I'd want to see 3, and that's it. And even then,
but dude, seriously, John, sit in front of a group of 35-year-olds and put up the Heavy Metal Day list from the US Festival, or
I get that they will not know. I get that they will not know Kix and Raven, and I get that. But what I'm saying is, they don't have a fever pitch following for these bands the way that the 80s bands do. There are no cruises for these type of bands. There are not all that many events for these type of bands. This is the first thing I've seen for something like of this generation since they came out.
John, I'm going to call bullshit on that, because the Warped Tour and Lollapalooza and Gathering of the Tribes, I mean, there were multiple festival tours that were going around the country for a decade doing this. There were multiple tours that did this. We had Ozfest, and that was it.
Are these the same bands that played on the Warped Tour?
Yeah, some of them.
Okay.
Of them, yes.
All right. I heard of the Warped Tour. I didn't hear about the other one.
You've never heard of Lollapalooza?
No, I've heard of Lollapalooza. But that was when they first came out.
The point being, but you just said there is no this festival that's going on up in Vegas, bigger than the Monsters of Rock cruise.
But I'm saying,
but bigger.
But there have been so many more metal tour followings, especially worldwide, much less.
I don't know that that's true.
I
think things like Donington and Download have been diluted by bands like this. That you had the metal crowd has. The reason why those bands are doing metal cruises is because the audience for those bands that we love so much can afford $3,000 to go on a fucking cruise.
It keeps the audience at the show because they can't leave.
Because they can't But it's there's John, it's just because it's not in our scope of interest doesn't negate its relevance. Now, don't get me wrong. I fucking hate, again, I'll repeat, I hate every band on this bill. All of them. Don't own music from
I'll give Paramore, AFI, and Avril a pass because
let's do it. Them. Jay, let's do it.
Of the 3,000 CDs I own, all right, not one by any band on this list. Couldn't care less about it. That said, it's a one-day festival that a shitload of people are going to go to. If we did a one-day festival in Vegas, or why isn't there a one-day festival in Vegas featuring all of those bands that we love?
Just as a stadium tour.
They all live there.
The stadium tour? When's that?
I said there's a stadium tour.
When's that going to happen?
Well, that's all up to Vince Neil, boys and girls.
That stadium tour will never happen.
And by the way, I should actually bring this up at this point since we're talking about it. Vince Neil has a solo show. Did you hear about this?
No, I saw
Vince Neil
today.
Vince Neil has a solo show smack in the middle of the stadium tour dates.
No,
so
because it's never going to happen.
Well, of the tentative dates for the stadium tour. And I believe it's the, let's see, I have this down. This is
KXM Rock. Look at the attendance at M3. M3 is a joke.
July 15 or July 17?
M3. Yeah. Saturday, July 16th. Vince Neil has a solo show. The 15th and the 17th. Vince is in the stadium tour. So what's going on there?
Vince knows that the stadium tour is not happening.
I have a feeling.
Practice.
Good luck with that. He's had 2 years plus. He's going on his third year to practice. It's not happening. Yeah, I don't know about that, but Vince Neil has a solo show, and he's got Great White and Vixen as openers out at the Red River Valley Fair. I don't know where that is. Where is the Red River Valley Fair?
It's in Red River Valley.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. When is July 16th, Johnny? What? Yeah.
Who's
in July?
Yeah. John B.O.
The number for 911.
What time is it, Johnny? Right now?
7:07.
Yeah. So I don't know what's gonna go on with the stadium tour. I just thought I'd point that out because everyone else is pointing it out.
Yeah, it's the stadium tour is not happening. It's never gonna happen.
I don't know what the deal with that is. That's like totally wacky.
I don't care about any of those bands, but I do care that there is at least a rock festival happening that's going to get people out and going to shows. I'm good with that.
Nah, I'm great with it, but let's see. Look in here. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Leo Safko says maybe he'll conveniently fall off the stage and break his ribs again. Oh, guys, I can't do the tour. I fell. So you're not doing that other show, right, Vince? No, of course not, man. Just don't show up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're making him do that show to keep him in shape.
So what do you think, Johnny? Jeannie Hannon wants to do a show about those Millennium bands and grunge.
Let's do it.
Johnny's up for anything.
Thursdays at 8.
Oh, terrible. Terrible.
So much for not talking shit about other shows.
It didn't even last 2 hours, Paul.
What? That's lots open around here.
It didn't even last 2 hours.
I would just like to point out, beginning of the show.
It's called a courtesy.
8 o'clock p.m.
It's called a courtesy.
Yeah, the used have that song, Wayno, that's been covered by, I forget the name of the fucking band, but it's a heavy, heavy fucking song. It's great. Hang on, I'll find it. Or not. Well,
Jeannie's going to dress up as a skater chick.
Sounds good. Jay, seriously, let's do that.
Johnny's up already.
That'd be awesome.
Jeannie Stratterday. Ooh.
Let's do it. Jay, let's do it on Twitch. I bet you it would work really well over on Twitch.
What? Why are you trying to torpedo the show?
Hey, Johnny, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
If you could get out of doing Saturday Night Live and just go on a Twitch and play video games all night, would you do it?
No.
Are you lying to me?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
It's totally full of shit.
It's so full of shit. He doesn't even want to do this show.
Johnny never wants to do this show. He just looks at the income from this show. He's like, all right, I'll deal with these idiots. 3 hours, I can do this. I can bite my tongue. I'll feed the chickens. I'll have dinner off camera. I can do this. I can get through this. I'll plug all my shit. It's a bigger audience. I'll plug all my shit.
Goddamn time. Waste of everyone's time. I don't know why I do this. What a waste.
That's right, Laz.
It is absolutely a waste of everyone's time, but we owe it to our beloved audience to waste their time.
Yes, I agree.
There you go. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate our audience.
I love how my computer, my iPad is now telling me that I've just logged in on Facebook. I'm like, I've been on Facebook for fucking 3 hours.
Johnny grabbed your remote.
Facebook alert. All right, thank you.
Johnny's siphoning money out of your account digitally.
It's very
That's
possible.
what he does off camera when you're distracted.
It's very possible. Yeah, you're right, Bozique. Thursdays at 8, Johnny will be on another show.
Johnny would not. Johnny would not dare.
There you go. Symmetry. The Twitch is more like an after party. Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
There you go. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, you guys.
I'm running low on gas.
Speaking of fun, and thank you, Mike Neese.
What was your guitar hint?
Oh, my guitar hint is it has to do with you. It has to do with you.
It's a Les Paul.
I didn't say it was a Les Paul. Is your name Les?
No, but we'd like when you do the guitar thing, there's Les Paul on the show.
That's actually pretty funny.
Thank you.
Oh, and Cobra Kai Platoon in the house.
Really all night. I'm here for about another 15 minutes.
There you go. While we have you, Paulie, let's talk about. Let's talk about.
Why not? Everybody else does. Good one, man.
Nice. Let's talk about Jeff Tate's quote recently, confirming that there will be no Queensryche reunion under any terms because they have been offered, and I quote, insane amounts of money to return to the original lineup for one small tour with Jeff Tate and Chris DeGarmo. I believe they were. After seeing what Dokken got paid?
Who offered those guys that money?
Listen, Dokken got paid $1 million a clip for 7 nights. 7 nights.
Yeah, in Japan.
Okay. So what? What does it matter where you are? Wherever they tour. They've been presented with some very insane offers, and multiple people in the camps have turned it down. So it was not just one, but multiple people will not work together.
Well, they've got all kinds of problems. I mean, Queensryche. Who the fuck is in Queensryche anymore? Eddie Jackson.
Well, Chris DeGarmo, had to be the first one to turn it down.
But it's Eddie Jackson and Michael Wilton. That's Queensryche now. Scott's out. Chris is out. Jeff's out. So it's fucking Eddie and Michael. That's it. Who fucking cares?
Well, it's Eddie Michael and Todd LaTorre. And Todd's been in there for 3 albums.
I understand that, but it's not fucking Queensryche.
It's that version of Queensryche. It's a good version of Queensryche.
I didn't say that. What I said was, it's not Queensryche. It's not the version of Queensryche people want.
It's not classic Queensryche.
It's not the version of Queensryche that you allege was offered a shitload of money to reform.
No, and it's not that version because they didn't accept those offers.
I'm just saying that's Queensryche. That's the band everybody wants to see. And right now,
we'll pay crazy money on that.
The only guys in fucking Queensryche now are the guitar player nobody's ever heard of and the bass player nobody gives a shit about.
What are you talking? Nobody's ever heard Michael Wilton?
Yes. Who gives a shit about Michael Wilton?
Listen, I give Chris DeGarmo his due, but Michael Wilton's been there since the beginning.
Queensryche.
And he's written the last couple of albums for them.
Chris DeGarmo is the fucking best thing that Chris and Jeff are the only, and Scott are the 3 guys not in Queensryche are the best part of Queensryche.
And that's why they want to offer them stupid money to get back together that they're not taking.
I don't deny that there was an offer. I don't think it was stupid money. I think it's more money than
it was presented as insane money.
Well, compared to the fucking $1,700 a night they're making, sure.
No, but I could see that being very comparable to at least what Dokken was paid.
I don't know.
I could see that.
Maybe, but I don't think so. Queensryche was never Dokken level big.
Oh, I disagree with that. Empire?
One major hit. Silent Lucidity
for like 2 years.
Operation Mindcrime was really big.
To you and me, Operation Mindcrime is big.
Well, to me, Operation Mindcrime is one of the greatest albums ever written, period. Yeah, but I'm saying in singles,
Queensryche is a prog metal band, and Dokken was a pop metal band that was on MTV for the matter of 4 albums. Queensryche had 1 major album with Mindcrime and then 1 big hit with Silent Lucidity, and that was pretty much it.
More than that. Jet City Woman, Empire.
World,
No, come on. These were big. I would put them on comparable levels.
I like Queensryche significantly more than I like Dokken. But I don't see Queensryche being a more mass appeal band than Dokken when it comes down.
I'm saying I think they're at least equal. And I think Queensryche had probably more hits than Dokken.
We'll see.
I believe so. Jet City Woman, Empire. I really Eyes of a Stranger, absolutely. I Don't Believe in Love. No, they got a lot. They got a lot of airplay. I mean, Dokken had In My Dreams.
Dokken, 2 words, Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
Massive fucking hit. Alone Again.
I literally think that now that I'm thinking about it, I think Queensryche had more hits than Dokken.
Nope.
No, I think so. I think so.
They both have the same amount of songs on the radio right now. Silent Lucidity, Alone Again.
That's it, huh? Just for Valentine's Day?
That's all they got. Silent Lucidity, Alone Again.
That's
all they get. Those are the only songs. Again, this is a sad pill to swallow for us.
No, I get it, but I think in their prime, I think Queensryche had more hits than Dokken. Now that I'm stepping back and thinking about it, as much as I love both bands. And I could absolutely see them getting paid at least for a reunion as much as Dokken was offered and took. I could absolutely see that.
I don't know. I would.
Actually, Keith Campbell brings up a great point. Name 1 arena tour Dokken headlined in. They didn't. And Queensryche did.
Being an arena headliner doesn't make you a hit machine.
But they definitely had hits, and I do believe I do believe that Wayno's bringing up Queensryche, 20 million albums worldwide, Dokken 10 million, twice the sales.
Again, you're doing the same argument we went through last week, which is
I still stand by last week.
Notoriety versus album sales. They're two totally different things.
And I still stand by that. I think Queensryche is more notable than Dokken.
All right. You say so.
The sales,
I don't think so.
Say so.
Yeah.
I think
The
rockin'
sales
like Dokken is more popular than the word Queensryche.
Yep.
That even I don't like saying rockin' with Dokken.
Doesn't matter. It's a pop culture.
Everybody knows.
I love
Dokken.
Yeah,
I disagree.
With everybody else, it's Queen's what?
Nah.
Silent Lucidity is the only song that anybody who's not a Queensryche fan can name.
I'm a massive Dokken fan. Clearly, I'm a massive Dokken fan. But I believe that more people would know Queensryche. And I believe that, and the sales for Queensryche are double that of Dokken. And the tours were bigger than Dokken.
Maybe for
this isn't
years.
Speaking. And look, this isn't speaking against any of the band. I like there's two of my favorite bands. But I literally believe. And Sean Mahoney brings up George Lynch. George Lynch is a different entity. George Lynch was with Dokken, sure, and he's easily a more well-known guitarist, but he was also with Lynch Mob. He also does his solo stuff, and he plays on everyone's albums. To be fair. I do believe that Wayno is right with the sales. Double the sales went to Queensryche and the tours.
Again, you're conflating two different things.
Money talks.
Nope. Awareness talks. I'll use the Twisted Sister reference again.
Boy, it's terrible how Don Dokken failed. There's the awareness.
The great Twisted Sister reference. Twisted Sister was never a huge band, but everybody knows we're not going to take it. Jet City Woman wasn't huge. It was big, but it wasn't huge.
Jet City Woman was very big.
Jet City Woman was as big as In My Dreams, or, the Dokken has right now on the radio, rock stations play two Dokken songs, Alone Again and Breaking the Chains. Those are the two songs that get played by.
And what do they play Queensryche?
Silent Lucidity, occasionally Another Rainy Night. Those are the two, and occasionally Jet City Woman. So probably three songs that get
Empire.
Yeah, Empire doesn't get played anymore. It just doesn't.
I don't believe in love.
Doesn't get played anymore.
I see way more hits of Queensryche.
I know you do, but you're wrong.
No, I don't think I am wrong.
Okay.
Johnny, take a survey just to the audience. I'm just curious. Of our audience now.
You can't use our audience.
You watch me use them all. Everybody strip.
You can't use
Siri, Alexa, play porn music.
You can't use people who have an affinity for this music as a barometer for world awareness. You can't.
You can't use people who actually know who Queensryche is. If that makes sense.
Well, if I was going to own the property rights of one band's catalog, my money would be on Queensryche.
And that's why you're broke.
What's the poll?
No, it's not why I'm broke.
He owns other guitars.
No, I would. And again, it's not an argument of who's a better band. It's not that at all. But when you talk about,
it's not about who's a better band.
Somebody even said, yeah, Wayno, good point. Somebody said, how do they put it? Now I forgot.
Mancuta's devastatingly handsome. Is that how they put it?
I have to go up and go up and check again. The idea that Dream Warriors was part of pop culture now because of a Freddy Krueger movie. Queensryche doesn't have that. They don't have that knee-jerk thing. When you hear Dream War, when you think of that Freddy Krueger movie, you hear that song and it becomes part. Again, it's good marketing. It was great product placement.
It's like saying Lustra with Scotty Doesn't Know for Eurotrip.
If it were a big enough song, people would know it.
It's a great song.
But Eurotrip is not a big movie like Freddy Krueger.
But I was in it.
Doesn't matter.
See what I did there?
Wow, that was very John. That was very John.
It really was. I used the audience to segue right into it.
I love both bands. I think both bands
so do I.
have their place. I don't think either of those bands. Oh, that's what somebody said. Nobody outside of us gives a shit about Queensryche. Here's a great example.
And Dokken's outside of our crowd. Dokken's pulling them into the club.
Ask you a question. Both bands are together right now. What venues are they playing?
But for multiple versions of each band actually is
what venues are
multiple versions of each band actually is playing.
What venues are they playing? They're playing Tuesday night at the Bimini Beach Club. They're not even playing theaters, either of those bands. They're club bands.
They'd both play the Whiskey, with Dane.
Yeah. They're club bands. And that's the reality of both bands. They're club bands. And
right, but
even with their original lineups, they're theater bands at best.
Yeah.
They just aren't.
But Queensryche has headline toured arenas. Dokken never ever has.
Because Queensryche hit at a time when MTV was at its peak.
You're talking 1992. You're talking 30 years ago.
Yeah. Queensryche's biggest record was when MTV was at its peak, whereas Dokken's biggest record was before MTV had its peak.
Well, Dokken was playing let's see, Dream Warriors was what? Beast from the East? No, Up from the Ashes, right?
No, Back for the Attack. 1987.
Back for the Attack, and then when was Mindcrime? 88?
Mindcrime was 88, but Mindcrime is not Queensryche's biggest record. Empire is.
No, but they had hits from it.
I understand that. Those were they were bubble up under hits. It was not their biggest record.
They didn't break.
The biggest record for
Queensryche was Empire.
Happened at a time when MTV was at its peak. They peaked at the same time commercially as MTV was the biggest influence in the music industry. Remember, Empire doesn't happen if the Black Album doesn't happen.
I disagree with that.
You're wrong.
Operation Mindcrime really got Queensryche the attention. No, Operation Mindcrime got Queensryche the attention.
No, Operation Mindcrime got Queensryche your attention. When the Black Album happened, the world fucking changed. And it opened the doors for bands like Queensryche and Faith No More and bands that were outside of the usual genre of straightforward Motley Crue bands. Because Queensryche is not a hair band. Queensryche is a prog metal band.
But they're a metal band. But they're metal. They don't have to be glam. They're a metal band.
That's when the glam was turning. The glam was turning metal, turning grunge.
Well, look, if you saw Queensryche during let's see, Warning and
I'll just bring this point out to you, John.
I mean, they were doing glam too, but
when Operation Mindcrime happened, what venues was Queensryche playing? They were an opening act.
No, they were not.
Yes, they were.
Oh, wait. No, I stand corrected because the tour was the Building Empires tour. You're right.
Yeah.
But they were an opening act just as big as Dokken.
I understand.
That was their fourth album.
They were an opening act.
The sales kept going up.
They peaked on Empire.
Uh-huh.
Mindcrime was a big record. Empire was a bigger record. It's their biggest commercial peak, which happened at the exact same time that MTV was the most powerful influencer in the music industry.
But it's about the music.
No, it's not.
Oh, sure it is.
It's about the music.
Sure, you're telling me Rage for Order. You're telling me Rage for Order would have done better in '92 compared to Empire?
I think that Rage for Order would have got exposed in 1982. That's the point. It's about the music business. It's not about the music. There were tons of shitty bands that got fucking huge.
Queensryche's music got better and better as it went along.
No.
Oh, I think so.
I'm going to use your argument. Empire is not as strong a record as Operation Mindcrime start to finish.
I agree with you there, but it had more hits on it.
Queensryche got better as they went along. You just said Queensryche got better as they went along.
I believe they did as far as hits. My personal taste, I felt Mindcrime was the best album they did.
Mindcrime is the best album they did musically. Empire is their biggest album they did commercially.
Commercially, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, because it happened at the same time as the Black Album. When the doors were open.
Nothing to do with the Black Album.
Yes, it does. The fucking Black Album changed what was allowable in the mainstream. Queensryche would never have had a mainstream hit if fucking Nothing Else Matters isn't on MTV. Fact.
Queensryche was coming out with Empire just as like the chips were falling on heavy metal in general.
Silent Lucidity was a power ballad during the time when all the power ballads happened.
MTV was already booming. MTV was already booming in the 80s.
If that's the case, why wasn't Rage for Order? Why weren't the songs from
It wasn't as good. It wasn't as good.
It wasn't going to be exposed. The landscape wasn't tolerant of it.
It wasn't as good.
Not true.
Rage for Order is nowhere near Mindcrime or Empire.
Take Hold
it's
of the
just
Flame.
Not.
Take Hold of the Flame is a better song than anything on Empire.
And that's what? The Warning.
Right. Why
wasn't that's one song.
Why was it? It only takes one song.
The warning itself wasn't as good as Mindcrime.
But those two songs, Queen of the Reich, and actually 3 songs. We can go back to the EP. The Lady War Back, Queen of the Reich, and Take Hold of the Flame are all as good as any or better than anything on Empire. Why weren't they?
I'll say they're as good to us, not commercially. And I think Empire is one of the best songs they ever did.
You think Empire is one of the best songs they ever did. You think that.
I absolutely do.
The masses don't. And that's
Queens what fans think that. Normal people have no idea who they even are.
Nope. Outside of Silent Lucidity, nobody knows who Queensryche is.
There you go, Boner Jams.
In the mass world. They just don't.
It depends. You're not going to ask your general public who Dokken is, and they're going to know them either. Look, the general public is not going to know most of either bands, but the fact is, money talks. The sales talk. The tours talk.
You're using my own argument. I just said it's not about the music, it's about the music business. And when fucking Metallica changed the music business, Queensryche got popular.
I'm not giving that credit to Metallica. It's not just about Metallica. What about Bon Jovi? You think Bon Jovi that came out before that? You're talking all of Bon Jovi's hits that dominated the world, didn't open up the world as well?
Metallica and Bon Jovi are nowhere near similar bands.
They're not. But at the time of Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet and Bon Jovi, New Jersey ruled the world for about 4 years, maybe 5 years.
All right. Now, John, before the Black Album came out, all right, Queensryche was releasing albums with Bon Jovi. Queensryche and Bon Jovi released The Warning on the same time. In fact, The Warning came out, I think, before Bon Jovi's first album. Then 7800 Fahrenheit comes out,
right?
And Rage for Order comes out.
Right.
7800 Fahrenheit is a hit. All these bands, but Bon Jovi is pop and acceptable and mainstream music. Queensryche
and opened up.
No, it did not.
Sure it did.
No, it did not. there was a pop metal element that was considered acceptable because Bon Jovi is closer to Journey and closer to 38 Special and closer to Loverboy than anything else. Metallica happens, and all of a sudden, heavy music that, remember,
the Black Album was not very heavy.
The Black Album was the heaviest fucking music that was being played on mainstream radio at the time.
It transitioned.
It was a
transition.
There was a time
Metallica brought the heaviness down. You can't compare that to like, Master of Puppets or something. Metallica toned down the thrash.
You're
and
still
made it
to me, John.
Sure I am.
Metallica.
I just disagree.
Breaks. You're wrong. History is not on your
side. Wrong.
Metallica and the Black Album made heavy music acceptable to the masses. It was a record that changed. Enter Sandman. There was a period when when Metallica first came out with the Black Album, Enter Sandman couldn't be played on the radio before 7 p.m. at night. Sad But True couldn't be played on the radio before 7 at night.
Sad But True is not Master of Puppets or Creeping Death or
those songs never got on the fucking radio, John.
And that's my point. That's exactly my point. You just made my point for me. Metallica literally brought the heaviness down to a more poppy, acceptable level with the Black Album.
And opened the door for everything that came after them. If it weren't for Metallica, Queensryche would never have been on MTV. Ever.
That's bullshit.
No, it's not.
Motley Crue was on MTV. Bon Jovi was on MTV. Poison was on MTV. All the popular music of that day was on MTV.
Motley Crue and Metallica are nothing like each other. Motley Crue and Queensryche are nothing like each other. Metallica and Queensryche are like each other. And because Metallica kicked the door open...
Wait. Hold on. Metallica and Queensryche are like each other?
Absolutely. They're metal bands.
No way.
They're metal bands.
Dokken is more like Queensryche than Metallica is more like Queensryche.
Unequivocally wrong.
No. How do you say that one is thrash, one is not? When was Queensryche ever thrash?
The Queensryche is metal. Metallica is metal. Dokken was never metal. They're a hard rock band. Dokken goes back to Humble Pie. Dokken goes back to Aerosmith. Dokken goes back to Led Zeppelin.
Queensryche has more of a prog feel, absolutely. But if you're saying which one is closer to Queensryche between Dokken and Metallica, I absolutely say Dokken.
You're absolutely incorrect.
No, come on.
You're absolutely incorrect.
Look at Rena's in the chat. Beef.
No,
oh my God. Hey,
yeah, Paulie and I are gonna have a mud wrestling thing over this for charity soon.
Here's the thing about it. Prior to Metallica, metal was not acceptable to the masses on the radio. Metal. You didn't hear bands like Metallica at 4:00 in the afternoon on your local rock station. Didn't happen.
You never heard them.
After the Black Album, which, by the way, is not my favorite, not even close to my favorite Metallica album, but it is the most important album in heavy metal history. It is the Sgt. Pepper of heavy metal.
I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that because I know where Metallica stands in the echelon.
There was music before the Black Album. Then there was the Black Album, and then there was music after the Black Album. And every heavy band, regardless, Pantera, Tool, Rage Against the Machine, Korn, Limp Bizkit,
all garbage.
Every fucking one of them owes their success.
Wait a minute.
Owes their success to the fact that the Black Album broke the door down.
Dane, God forbid, Dane. And Dane, feel better. Get well soon, man.
But all of those bands don't happen if Metallica doesn't open the door. And that's what happens with the Black Album. The Black Album changed the music business and made what is
Nirvana changed the music business.
Well, here's the thing. You've seen that thing that's always gets sent around the internet. It's the Black Album, Use Your Illusion Records, Pearl Jam's first album, Nevermind. They all came out within 2 months of each other.
Right,
yes,
right.
There's argument to be made that 1991 is the greatest single year for the diversification of music, rock music of all time. There's an argument to be made for that. Whether or not I agree with it, it's a fact. Metallica put heavier music on mainstream radio, and grunge all of a sudden happens because of Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Nirvana. Even though Soundgarden was around 5 years before that in the 80s when they came out with Louder Than Love, all that shit was fucking fantastic. But 1991 was a pivotal year for hard music.
It absolutely was. I'm not saying it wasn't. What I am saying is that you can't say Metallica was responsible for Queensryche's success. Queensryche was responsible for their success.
No, they weren't.
Everyone was paying attention to the metal scene in the 80s because mostly of Bon Jovi and Motley Crue and Poison.
Then why wasn't...
And Def Leppard. Def Leppard.
None of the... Bon Jovi, Poison, Def Leppard, Motley Crue have nothing in common with Queensryche.
Queensryche is more progressive, but they are not a thrash metal band.
They are a metal band.
They don't play thrash at all.
They play metal.
And Metallica is more thrash.
Metallica, but the Black Album is not a thrash album. The Black Album,
and that's what I'm saying. Metallica brought their music down with the Black Album. They were not doing thrash the way they were previous albums.
And what happened?
And people liked it better, absolutely. Right. But it had nothing to do. These bands were already all big already. These bands already had multiple albums that were popular already.
No, they weren't.
Dokken was popular. Sure, they were.
Not worldwide popular.
They're not the same, John. They're not the same. Dokken and Queensryche are not the same. That's like saying a 4-cylinder engine and an 8-cylinder engine they're both engines, but they're not the same. That's like saying a Les Paul and a BC Rich Bitch are the same. They're both guitars, but they're not the same.
I'm saying that Queensryche and Dokken, as far as bands go, I do believe that Dokken was offered an insane amount of money for reunion. Jeff said it. I have no reason to disbelieve him. I believe that people like Queensryche at least as much as Dokken, and Queensryche, I believe, is more popular than Dokken. That's where I stand. We can agree to disagree respectfully, but that is where I plant my flag. We agree to disagree.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I agree. It all sucks.
See, there's John.
I'd rather go to that
Johnny's looking at
Old
Limp
Again
Bizkit,
concert.
Right? Johnny's looking at his Limp Bizkit.
19 minutes.
Christopher Live, Sawa. Yes. Do you know why Queensryche had Empire at 85? Because Metallica's One video came out in 88. That's why. Because when One from Metallica changed the fucking, that kicked the door open, and then the Black Album changed the business.
I think Motley Crue and Bon Jovi and Poison and Def Leppard were bands with huge hits that were bringing a lot of attention to heavy metal.
Nope.
That was almost over.
Heavy metal
wasn't over till Nirvana. Nirvana ended it.
It was almost over. It was the end.
It was almost over. During Empire, it was almost over.
Heavy metal and hard rock changed. And hard rock is what Motley Crue and Bon Jovi and Dokken are. They are not heavy metal.
Now we're splitting hairs between are they metal? Are they hair metal? Are they glam metal? Are they rock?
That's how the public saw it. That's how
heavy metal was the general term at that point.
Heavy metal was not considered acceptable amongst the masses until Metallica, by the way, completely went against everything that they said they were going to do. We'll never make a video. And then they put out the One video in 1988. And all of a sudden, One was the #1 thing on MTV. And suddenly we start to see Anthrax videos and Nuclear Assault videos. And then Queensryche comes out with a fantastic prog metal record in 1988 that also capitalizes on the same sort of visuals that were in Metallica's one video. And that starts to build a thing.
I don't understand how you how do you compare Queensryche when you can compare Metallica? You could say, okay, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Testament, Exodus. I mean, you can bring those, you could bring those bands all together because they're thrash with crunchy guitars. Queensryche did not play that type of music. They did not.
Queen of the Reich is a fucking thrash song.
It is?
Yes.
No. It's got great guitars, but it's not thrash.
It's fast, and to the average listener,
so were a lot of bands. A lot of bands were thrash. They weren't thrash.
I didn't say they were thrash. I said Queen.
They were prog rock, prog metal.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared about Queensryche before Metallica happened.
Bullshit.
Okay, but
it was a different time. It was a different time now. It was a different time.
This is where I'm going to pull the John. I'm probably about 8 years older than you.
At least.
And I was there.
and now I can't deny that he's going to win that one.
And I was there.
I always respect my elders.
And by the way, somebody did point out, Yostinator points out, yes, Queen of the Reich is absolutely an Iron Maiden song. So why wasn't Iron Maiden massive?
Iron Maiden's not thrash either.
No, but they're a heavy metal band.
They are, absolutely. Yes. And so is Queensryche out of the gate.
Right. They were heavy metal.
I would absolutely compare the first Queensryche album to an Iron Maiden album. Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Neither one of
those. That's not Metallica.
Yes, it is. Heavy metal and hard rock are two different things. Heavy metal bands were not accepted.
Metallica was thrash. They were thrash.
Nobody knows what thrash metal is.
Sure they do.
In 1988, they don't. It's heavy metal.
Sure they do.
No, they don't.
Listen,
heavy metal, thrash didn't exist as a term amongst the masses then. It was all, there's a difference between heavy metal and hard rock. AC/DC, Van Halen, Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Rat, Dokken, Y&T, Twisted Sister, hard rock bands. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Metallica, Anthrax, Black Sabbath, Queensryche, heavy metal bands. There's a definitive line there. And when one happened, this isn't about us. It's about how the public.
No, it's not about us. It's not about us.
And it's how the public viewed it.
The public viewed it with their dollar. And the fact is, Queensryche was bigger. They made more money. They sold more albums than Dokken.
They still play the same size venues right now. They still have the same monetary value.
Yeah, right now everybody's sucking dicks in the truck stops.
But if that's the case, John, Queensryche has fallen farther than Dokken ever has.
Oh, bullshit. I think listen, George Lynch is still up there more than anyone. Wait.
You just said Queensryche was a bigger band than Dokken. Did you not say that?
At the time.
Did you not say they were bigger than Dokken?
At the time. Absolutely. In their prime, Paulie. Right. In their prime. Okay. Right now, everybody's in the toilet except Metallica.
If one band is here and one band was here, and now both bands are here, which one has fallen farther?
Both of them fell to the ground, but the fact is, if Dokken gets a monster offer to reunite, yes, Queensryche can also get the same monster offer to reunite.
I don't believe that until I would love to see figures.
I do.
I don't believe in the slightest.
The figures I showed were the figures that Wayno posted. 10 million versus 20 million albums. Queensryche over Dokken.
Album sales. That's not the reunion money. I don't believe either of those bands was offered an insane amount of money to reunite.
Well, first of all, Dokken took advantage of it and did those reunion tours. They got their payday. Dokken did it. Dokken got their offer. Dokken got their payday. Dokken did that tour. They got their offer. They cashed in. Queensryche will not do it, is the point.
Yeah, I don't think anybody gives a shit about either of those bands. Either of them. Both of them.
Well,
both of them.
Maybe... Right now, some rich Powerball mogul or someone who made a lot in crypto really likes Queensryche and wants to give them a lot of money to reunite, and they won't take it. It's probably like, you know, someone like Dane, and he's like sitting in the back room with his cryptocurrency, Ethereum. It went up another 35%. Okay, but he doesn't want to tell us he's like super wealthy.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue anymore. I got to go to bed.
All right. Well, on that note, it is time for Show and Tell Guitar.
I've only been going on adrenaline. I'm like, I can't fucking believe we're having this argument. Yeah, there's a great example. Jesus Repesme.
Don't ruin my day talking about fucking Avril Lavigne compared to my favorite band.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne has sold more than Dokken and Queensryche combined. Suck it, Mancuda.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Where am I saying, Bozique, where am I saying Iron Maiden isn't massive? Last week, I was the one that was fighting for Iron Maiden being higher than Judas Priest. I'm the first person to tell you that.
Iron Maiden is certainly a bigger band worldwide than Judas Priest. They're just not more aware. People aren't more aware of them. Just because
don't go back to this argument. We only got 20 minutes.
Just because
9 minutes.
We already did it. What? There's 19 minutes on that clock.
No, he's got to be done by 8 because he's
start late. I said we're done by 8.
Oh, okay. So I thought we were going by this clock. All right. So we got 9 minutes. Okay, let's bang through the sponsor. Let's bang through the sponsors.
I'm going to go pee and I'll be back for the guitar.
All right. Today's Show and Tell Guitar brought to you by Vinum Custom Pickups. Tell Craig Vinum we sent you at Talking Guitars and 80s Metal. Tell Vinum Custom Pickups, maker of the Mancuda Custom, tell them what you want, and Craig Vinum will take good care of you. Vinum Pickups can make whatever custom boutique pickup you want. Tell them we sent you. They are great. Vinum Custom Pickups. And, of course, my favorite pick, Swiss Picks, with raised holes in there for your gripping pleasure. Check out Swiss Picks. Try one. You will never want to let these go. This nuclear chatter, this is my favorite pick right now. I love these things. Swiss Picks, beautiful gripping picks. Barely got out of my hand. Johnny, what would you like right now more than anything? A blowjob, B, $1 million, or C, some delicious Colonel's Gourmet popcorn? Come on, Johnny. This is an easy one.
Colonel sounds pretty good.
Delicious Colonel's Gourmet popcorn. Hell yeah, motherfucker. Colonel's Gourmet popcorn and more. They have chocolate. They have sugar-free chocolate. They have candy. They have all sorts of treats and the best gourmet popcorn in the world. Hey, Super Bowl's coming up, motherfuckers. Get some Colonel's Gourmet popcorn. Otherwise, all your friends are going to go to your other friend's house where they have better wings than yours. You need some Colonel's Gourmet popcorn for the Super Bowl and delicious Bang energy drink with it because you want to stay awake during that stupid halftime show they'll probably have that none of us will be interested in it because it won't be Metallica, Queensryche, or Dokken. I guarantee you. So, also, Johnny, where would you get if
somebody get me some wings?
Yeah, I love wings, God damn it. Johnny, where would you get, if you were going to hot rod your guitar with a kill switch, where would you get the most professional kill switch money can buy on the market?
I would go to Tessie Switch.
Damn right you would, because Tessie Switch makes the best, most durable, most professional, pro-rated kill switches for your guitar. Check out Tessie Switch and get one of those because you'll want to beat it like your meat. And Johnny, if you were going to hot rod your guitar, where would you go for upgrades? We're talking titanium bridge, titanium saddles, noiseless springs, all the stuff you need. Tuners, fu-tone.com. When you want to hot rod your guitar, you call Adam Reaver, you tell him Johnny Beane sent you, or the Johnny Beane Show, or Talking Guitars and 80s Metal. You get what do you get, Johnny? You get a percentage, right? Something like that?
I have a deal
big penis. Oh, yes. Mention Johnny Beane and you will get a better pricing structure when you hot rod your guitar with fu-tone.com. Speaking of Johnny Beane and Jay Hannon, you will want to mention one of them when you have delicious Colonel's Gourmet popcorn for your Super Bowl party, because you get more product when you mention Johnny Beane or Jay Hannon. You get nothing if you mention me or Paulie, but you get more product. What about you mention Blue Rhino? You know what you get? You get nothing but, oh, Blue Rhino. But you only get the discount when you get more product by mentioning Johnny Beane or Jay Hannon at Delicious Colonel's Gourmet Popcorn. Now, without further ado, my clue for today. See how I banged through those fucking promos?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pro. Your clue for today, for today's show and tell guitar, was it has something to do with Paul, right?
Yeah. So does this mean I have to go to bed?
No, baby.
Oh.
No. Stick around, Pumpkin. Hold on. Johnny, take away all those. Take away all those things on my screen. What's all that crap on my screen?
It's all graphic.
Blocking all the screen.
That's the way the screen looks.
Yeah, can you clean that up a bit?
Crap, where would I do that?
And leave a thumbs up on the video if you're having fun tonight. Even if you're not, leave a thumbs up on the video. Leave comments. We want to hear your comments. What you think about Dokken, Metallica, Queensryche. We want to hear it. Leave comments in the video. We love our audience talking back to us.
Yes.
Come on, Johnny. Clean up that screen. Clean up that screen, Johnny. I'm stalling for you right now.
The show's almost over. Let's go.
Come on, let's see the show and tell guitar.
I'm looking. StreamYard keeps changing, so I'm looking to see how I change it. I don't know. I'll work on it.
All right, I'll just do it anyway. Okay.
I was not shocked to find out it was a Les Paul.
Paulie was right.
That appears to be a Norlin.
This is a 1977 show and tell guitar. Let me know when you got it, Johnny.
Boy, man, Norlin was fucking confused back then. They didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do.
There we go.
So many mistakes on that guitar.
Hey, now.
No, it's Norlin. I love it's an original. I get it, but looking at what Norlin
Johnny,
was...
Got it.
Okay. This is a 1977 Les Paul custom. This is my first Les Paul because I was not into Les Pauls, but I always liked Ace Frehley. And of course, that Gentleman 1986 Slash suddenly turned a guitar that nobody would touch in the 80s into a really desirable guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And as Paulie was starting to say, Norlin, the company that owned Gibson at the time, they made some great Les Pauls and some crap Les Pauls.
Mm-hmm.
The Norlin era, 1968 to 1985, was hit or miss, boys and girls. And some of them weighed as much as a fucking boat anchor. I had a 13-pound one once. This one's pretty nice. This one's about 9 pounds. It's a little on the heavy side, but not too bad. But I wanted a cherry sunburst similar to what Ace Frehley had. And this one caught my eye and my ear when I played a bunch of them, because I always played a bunch of them in music stores. And all of a sudden, this one caught my eye and ear. I really liked the look and feel of this one. The tone, it had a deep, rich tone, had just enough wear on the back, just a little worming on the back, little general wear, little chipping, and on the neck was pretty clean, but not bad. Played in nicely, but not abused. Little cherry sunburst action. And I liked the look of this type of cherry sunburst because this was very similar to like Ace Frehley's Budokan.
Similar, yeah.
You know, his 3
Ace
pickup version.
More clown bursty. That doesn't look as bright on camera as I think it is in person.
It's not actually. It's subtle compared to a lot of the clown bursts. And what Paulie is talking about is some of the Les Paul cherry bursts, the orange that you see on the edges of my guitar, a lot of time they were bright red and literally looks like a lipstick is done on them, like a clown makeup on it. This one blends in. This one blends in a little smoother. And it's more subtle in person than you can probably see on your screen. But it really has a nice tone. I really liked it.
Here's where I point out when I was saying mistakes that Norlin made.
Go ahead.
It has nothing to do with the individual guitar. What it has to do with is the visuals. It's weird. They couldn't decide, because the binding is primarily white. When you see that the pickup rings and the pick guard and the poker chip are black, they almost fight with the white on the binding on the outside of the guitar. And this was a common thing that Norland did in the 70s. They didn't quite know how to visually present the guitar in a non-harsh way. That black works against all of the other colors in the guitar.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you on that. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. This particular one, being a custom, if you look close, the binding are lines of white and black.
Yeah. It's 7-layered binding, yeah.
Right. So the custom has that. The regular model has just white. So I would agree with you if it was just the white, but because this is the white and black multi-layers, I think it looks a little nicer, because this, let's see if I could figure out how to do this. This is also white and black.
Right. Again, it's each, and I'm using Norland generally versus a guitar.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, like on this individual one specifically, because this does have the black option in the pick guard.
Yep. And that's why you have to. That's the thing to point out, to reinforce John's point with a Norland. You can't just look at them and make a decision. You got to pick it up. You got to play it. You got to check it out.
You have to play
because they were so hit and miss.
And Paulie and I have talked about this so many times.
Yeah.
Literally, you can't buy a Norland over the mail and expect it to be good or bad. They're all on a case-by-case basis. And no, Can't Drive 55 brings up a great point. A lot of the Norlands were made with 3-piece maple. This is not. This is 1977. This is the first year that the body was 1-piece maple. It's one body, so it's not 2 pieces melded together. It's 1 piece. As far as the body itself concerned, the top is what is it? 3 pieces, 3-piece top.
Yep.
On the maple top.
What happened was the sandwich bodies in Norlands with 2 pieces of mahogany with a thin veneer of maple in the middle, so you could see.
And you would see right here a line, a seam where the 2 pieces of body were joined together.
Yep.
This is 1977. This is the first year they started using 1-piece bodies again, and that's why I like this also.
Yep. So that's one of the things. Those pancake bodies. One of the issues with the pancake bodies was, because of temperature and humidity differences, a lot of times you would get gapping. The way those things were sandwiched together, you would get air or a gap, and they would split. That was one of the complaints that people had with the pancake body. So you always had to constantly keep them well humidified. Otherwise, the temperature variances in maple and mahogany are different. They shrink at different rates.
Like my penis when it's cold out or I hit the water. And Hellstorm asks a very good question. Is there a consistent weight for the good versus the bad ones? No. It's total hit or miss. The quality control was insane.
Yeah.
How good or bad it was. You'd get some winners. This is why I have so few Les Pauls in my collection, because I like those Norland years, but I only like the ones I think are winners, and I have to play them individually to pick them out. And that's why I only have a handful of them, because I'm real selective of them. This particular one I think is really great. It's got just the right amount of wear to look good. It's got a nice burst. It's got nice mahogany, got a pretty decent weight for this, and the tone is terrific. Nice, thick, old vintage Les Paul tone. And that's pretty much the gist of it.
One of the things
the ebony board, by the way, because it's custom.
One of the things that was a mistake that Norland made, and it was ECL Norland was the company at the time. The decisions made in the manufacturing of the Les Paul. Now, remember, the guitar was just making a comeback in 1968 because it had been off the market for 6 years. They didn't make any Les Pauls in that shape since 1961, so technically 9 years. But from 61 through 63, there were Les Pauls in the shape of an SG. And then from 63 to 68, there were no Les Paul guitars made by Gibson. So they brought them back in 1968 when ECL/Norland took control of the company. The problem was the decisions made in the manufacturing of those guitars were made with cost prohibitive measures and return on investment in mind versus quality control and putting out a quality product. It was about economics and not about about the actual product. And so there were a lot of mistakes made. In fact, if you look at that neck, put that neck up, I believe it's that's a 14-degree neck. They didn't return to the 17-degree neck angle until later on. But that's,
and you'll notice the volute. You got a little volute here that they did during these years. And this is pretty much a D-shaped neck, and this is why I like it. I'm not a big fan of the C-shaped Les Pauls.
Yep, but the neck angle is different than the classic Les Pauls. Most of them were sandwiched until 77. Then they started going back to it. They realized, hey, you know, the amount of manufacturing hours in putting together the sandwich body versus just cutting a good piece of mahogany, they started to do bean counting things. How many parts, how many pieces, how much manufacturing time cost per unit. And they eventually came back to making decent guitars. But again, even after the Norland years, when Henry took over, still quality control was hit and miss up until the changeover in 2019. Some years they were good, some years they weren't.
And there you go. I got to cut this short because Johnny's got to go. But this is 1977 Les Paul Custom Cherry Sunburst. My first Les Paul and one of my favorite Les Pauls out of the handful I own. And that is this week's Show and Tell Guitar of the Week. Great guitar. Really, really nice guitar. Oh,
in the Norland years that's like hitting the lottery.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Finding a decent one. Let's give thanks because we got to get out of here tonight. Let's give thanks to our audience. We love you. We appreciate you. Again, huge prayers for Ben Tom, positive energy for Ben Tom and Dave Nesdall and Dane Zimmerman. Everybody, please put them in your thoughts and prayers and positive energy. We want everyone to get healthy and rock on. We want everyone, please, politics aside, just get the fucking vaccine so we can get back to live music. And wear your mask or whatever you choose to do. Just try to be considerate of others and take care of those you love. Either way, we want you safe because we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, the great Neanderthal. Thank you, Johnny Beane. And let's thank our beloved channel members. Please leave a thumbs up, by the way, on the video. Let's leave our channel. Let's say thank you to our smash the like button and leave comments because we love that. Thank you to our channel members. Let's see. James Gum 5150. I'm sorry, James S 50. James 5150. James 5150, James Gum, Jimmy Ray Hawkins, Wayno, Thomas Santiago, Smallmouth Guy, Dave Ennis, Vinyl Freak 5150, Majestic PBJ and J Cat, Mike Neestan, Halen, James G, Music Therapy Laz, Andy Carson, Rick Green, the Chad, Christopher Live Sawa, All Dave, All Night, Murphy, Steve Barton, Fernando Riley, Laguna Palms, Robot Master Switch, R2R3, Locking Nut, 6 Chick 71, John Morana, Hillary Lewis, Jeff T, 5150 TV, Kurt 5150, The 5150 Show, and Babes TV, KXM Rock, The Dreamer's Life, R. Habs, Stephen Franklin, Carol Hatcher, Sean Shreds, Margaret Scranton, Michael the Captain Smith, Jesus Rapes Me, Nicole Mrazek, Brian Spalding, Joe Christian, False Flag, Ghost BC, Rich Hugh Caldwell, Jim Nicholas, Mr. BHB Jr., that's Bruce, Thomas Santiago, Lenny Loon, my little geriatric sex kid, Mary, Bo Zeke, and Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael.
And again, we love and appreciate our audience. Please take care of yourselves. Please be careful out there. Let's all get through this goddamn pandemic safely and come back to watch more shows. Leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, smash the like button, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Watch Johnny on Twitch. Don't masturbate with anyone watching. And of course, don't go through stop signs. Everyone love Mama Mancuda. Mwah. And we care about you. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Rock on, everybody. Talking Guitars and 80s Metal live.
Yes. And good luck tomorrow, Paul. With
Lurana says love. Yes, and have a good watch Paul's show. Paul, give a plug again real quick.
No, we're just you listen. You don't watch the radio.
Yeah, watch it.
Watch your radio. Just listen to the fucking radio. Just
sometime around 8:00. 8:00
Mountain
Arizona time, which is Mountain time right now. We don't change. So 8:00 p.m. Mountain time. Valerie Bertinelli will be on during Eddie Van Halen's birthday show. So that'll be fun.
And happy birthday and heaven, Eddie Van Halen. You're the king. You're the best. We love you. We miss you.
Yes. All right.
Anyone else? Irish goodbye. Love you.